Hey guys, how's it going?
No
Harry
way!
Here.
Oh shit!
And welcome to Exilecon!
Oh my god, Crip gets to open it? That's insane.
Thank you all so much for joining us here in New Zealand. It's quite a journey. Thank you guys for joining us online.
I will never forget the night I came home from my dad's house and I watched Criparian talking with Chris Wilson on his stream while he was killing bears in Act 2 of Path of Exile for the closed beta. And I thought to myself, this is the greatest game I've ever seen. I'm going to spend 15 of my remaining $20 in my bank account to support this game in closed beta so I can play it. Over 10 years ago.
It's going to be a fantastic show. So you guys want to learn about what's coming up in Path of Exile? Oh, you do? Yeah, me too. Yeah. Well, before we get to the people that are best to deliver that information, before we get into Path of Exile's wonderful future, let's take a moment to go over all the wonderful things we have already experienced in Path of Exile. Okay. Let's take a moment to check out Path of Exile from the past.
Oh, this is going to be so nice. Man. Man, that was...
Life is fleeting.
A worthy opponent.
Oh my god.
Death to sin.
Bro, I remember this fucking a bit. This is the first Templar build I ever made, was Shock Nova. And there was this fucking staff. What was it? It was like Pillar of the Gods or something like that. And it gave you like spell echo, and it was so fucking insane.
Bow to your queen, mortal.
Yeah, sacrifice that was their first season.
Let me bend your ear for a minute.
Why are you so in love with death?
Which one is this? Warbands and Tempest Leagues. Talisman. Oh boy.
Weary traveler draws close to the end of the path.
I hate to say it, but I'm actually a Labyrinth enjoyer. I like the idea of the Labyrinth. I think it's cool.
Gaze into the abyss.
Oh, bro, like I feel like whenever they added Shaper, that was whenever the game really came online. You know, like that was whenever it was like, okay, yo, this shit is real. Oh shit. It's a loot box.
What in damnation have you done?
Oh shit. Tava. Oh bro, like I always hated these fucking fights, the Elder Slayers. Or sorry, the Elder Guardians.
It is time to hunt.
Dude, I feel like these I thought Beastier was earlier.
Afraid of the dark.
Delve was really big.
You should be.
Betrayal, bro, y'all remember Betrayal? Y'all remember whenever Betrayal came out, and like you would just join into a map, and they would fucking invade you and kill you. Oh my god. Yeah, they changed that.
Do you remember dying here?
I kind of like Synthesis in a way. For me, like being these like little narrow things, you could barely move. I still feel like Legion, you know what sounds really, it's crazy? It's like I played Synthesis, I played Betrayal, which like I feel like we're not like really super well liked, and I played Calandra, but I didn't play Legion. I actually did not play the Legion League. And that's the league that I feel like everybody hit level 100 in. Yeah, Cyclone. I played Blight too. I feel like the Conqueror's expansion was actually fucking insane. Like, overall, I think the Cirrus... Because I played... This was like Metamorph League. Dude, this was fucking insane. Yeah. Metamorph was so good too.
Insane.
And Delirium. I didn't play Delirium. Yeah, I didn't play Delirium either. Because I just burned myself out on Metamorph.
Harvest awaits. This
I
one
did.
should be
I don't know
rather
if I did Harvest. I did
legitimate.
Heist.
Does the toy wish to play? With me?
Yeah, I did. This is fucking.
Your path to
yeah,
greatness has taken a hard turn.
Yeah, whatever happened to this? This shit was awesome. Like, can we maybe I'll be popular opinion, but like, can we just get rid of fucking Expedition and get this? Like, this was awesome. I like this more than Expedition personally.
Toward a cliff.
Detonations incoming!
Yeah, give it a Heist. Yeah, something like the Expedition. Yeah, people are moaning about Expedition.
I've become too
I didn't play
weak to
Scourge.
sustain the blood crucible.
I think I played this one. I didn't play Sentinel.
Another mortal wanders
Played
into my
Calandra.
prison.
I didn't play Sanctum. People love Sanctum. And I played Crucible. Act 1 trailer. Oh, yeah. Oh, bro, wait, what? Yo, did they steal this from Diablo 4? What the fuck, man? That's how Diablo 4 starts, too. Yeah, this is the first trailer that they released for Path of Exile 2. Look at how much it, like, look at how much it improves. I remember watching this.
Thou creatures!
I always thought about doing like one of those like ball fireball or fire like Nova things. Built. I remember watching that. I watched this. I think this was in like the Game Awards or something like that. I don't remember. Like the Game Awards stuff. Alright. The bald man himself. There he is.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games.
Yep.
Welcome to Exilecon 2023. It feels like just yesterday that I was here on stage at Exilecon 2019 announcing Path of Exile 2. Since then, we have worked tirelessly on the content we're going to show you this weekend. To everyone here in person, thank you so much for coming out to join us. It honestly feels so good to know that people love Path of Exile so much that they fly across the world to come and celebrate it with us in person here. I really hope you have a great trip and make the most of your time in New Zealand. Our last Exilecon was a magical experience, and we've tried to go above and beyond in every way this time. If you're tuning in online to watch the live stream, thanks for joining us also. I wish you could all be with us here, but to ensure you have the full Exilecon experience, we have made sure to include every talk and session as part of the 2-day live stream this weekend. Twitch drops are enabled for the live stream, but if you're here in the audience, you'll automatically get them when you redeem the microtransaction code in your swag bag, so no need to stream it from your phones while you're watching. You'll also receive the attendee-only Exilecon 2023 hideout. We have so much to share with you this weekend, and let's just get right into Path of Exile 2. I'd like to introduce Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts, game directors of Path of Exile 2.
All right. Put on POV category for the drops. Can I do that for you guys? Apologies for that. We should be fine.
Hey guys. While Chris has been running Path of Exile 1, Mark and I and over 100 other developers have been hard at work on PoE 2.
Well,
and honestly, the project has become much bigger than we expected when we announced it in 2019. It's been almost 4 years since then, and so it's about time we showed you what we've been working on. Oh, hang on. Okay. Sorry, I forgot. Okay. When we announced Path of Exile 2 at Exilecon 2019, we told you guys that we were releasing it as an expansion to PoE 1 and that both campaigns would be playable in the same game client with a shared endgame. But PoE 2's scope has continued to grow and grow, and it's far more than just an expansion with a new campaign. It has entirely new monsters, skills, mechanics, classes, everything you'd expect from the next generation of action RPGs. Not to mention revamps of most of the PoE 1 League content. This thing is just freaking huge. There was a point when we realized that our plan to replace PoE 1 with PoE 2 would essentially be getting rid of a game that people love for no real reason. So we made a decision. Path of Exile 1 and 2 will be separate with their own mechanics, balance, endgames, and leagues. But it's still a shared platform. Your microtransactions are available across both games.
That's a fucking... Holy shit. What a W. Wow. What the fuck? Holy shit.
Everything you have ever purchased or will ever purchase in the future will be usable in both games unless it's hyper-specific to the content of one of them. You can't transform into a bear in PoE 1, so a reskin of your bear form isn't going to work. But you absolutely can equip the awesome armor set that you got and use all your stash tabs.
Completely
so with that in
reasonable.
mind, we'd love to show you a live demo of some of the stuff we've been working on. PoE 2 has come a long way. Mark here is going to man the PC. Hopefully he doesn't die. It is a live gameplay demo after all.
All right, let's see it. It always makes me very confident whenever the way they're going to show off the new game is by playing it. Always that's what I like to see.
All right.
The gods caused all this, you know. After Oriath was destroyed, I traveled, searching for answers. Everywhere I went, the same divine devastation. It must end. I will end it. And no exile will stop me.
All right. Okay. Where's Marauder? There it is. Do all classes get a role like in Lost Ark? Yes? Oh, it's lit. That was such a great feature Lost Ark added. I'm glad every other game is completely copying them. Okay. All right. Okay, easy to see boss mechanics. I like that. Okay. It says 100 distinct environments, 600 monsters, 100 bosses? What the fuck? $1,500 passes. Oh god. 36 ascendancy classes, 240 active, 700 equipment types, 6-person co-op, much more.
This world will be reborn. No matter the cost.
That's pretty cool. All right. That is pretty fucking cool, man. Holy shit. That's badass.
All right, Mark. Your turn now.
Now he has to play the game.
Welcome to Path of Exile 2. We'd like to start off by showing you some of the gameplay of Act 3, one of the 6 acts in PoE 2's campaign. We're starting here in the jungle depths. Act 3 is set in the ruins of the...
Yeah, also remind you guys, this is a free game. So if you want to download it right now, I'm not sponsored or anything, although I should be. I've sponsored them. I've spent over $1,000 on the microtransactions. PathofExile.com. It's a free game.
Our civilization, which fell thousands of years ago. Jungle has taken over their former once great cities, and we'll be exploring it using one of the 6 new character classes called the Monk. In PoE 1, we had 1 character class for each of the combinations of strength, dexterity, and intelligence. When looking at the design of PoE 2, though, we realized that many of the new skills that we were trying to design just didn't really fit thematically with the existing classes that we have. Being a spellcaster with a bear form makes sense for Strength Int, but it just doesn't really sound like something a Templar would do.
Yeah, true.
We realized that since we had new mechanics for every attribute combination, it actually made sense to design a new character class to explore the new themes.
I like that. Reminds me of, you know, back in Magic the Gathering, whenever they started making multicolor cards, like red, green, you know, like blue, red, you know, all that. I mean, we all know the colors, right? And so, yeah, this is really
every
cool.
attribute combination has 2 classes associated with it. Strength Int has the Templar or the Druid. On Dexterity, you have the Ranger or the more spear-focused Huntress. And on Dex Int, you have the Shadow and the Monk, which Mark is playing here.
Really
Each class has its own 3 ascendancies that let you further specialize the class in a way that only that class has access to. But they both start at the same location on the passive tree. The quest rewards you are offered on the 2 variants are tailored to the class. But of course, this is PoE. You can still mix and match anything to your heart's content.
$18 gold. Oh, there's gold in this game. Wait, how's the econ? Yeah, I'm curious how the economy is going to work. Oh, sorry.
Looks like we've come across the boss for this area. In PoE 2, every area of the campaign contains a boss of at least this difficulty. That's over 100 bosses to fight as you make your way through the campaign.
Does this mean 100 bosses? Or does it mean 12 bosses that are 8 different colors? Because I'm curious.
All have unique mechanics.
Okay.
As you've been watching from Mark fighting here, you probably noticed that melee combat in PoE 2 is a very different feel than before. We've done a lot of things to add mobility to combat.
Yeah.
Practically every melee skill in PoE 2 has some kind of movement built into it. But the Monk in particular is a melee fighter who specializes in mobility over brute strength.
Well, this guy's dodging like crazy. So what dropped again? Just money. Okay.
So, as Mark has been playing, you might have noticed these blue markers over enemies. Markers are skill equips called Killing Palm. Whenever an enemy has a blue indicator over it, it means that the monster has low enough life to cull with Killing Palm.
Oh,
Successfully executing the cull will give you a power charge. This is an important skill for the Monk, since many of his skills interact with power charges.
Oh, that's interesting.
One of the great things about the skill is that it has a built-in dash forward, which makes it much easier to target the skill right at the point where you need it.
Shit.
We've done a huge amount of work in PoE 2 to make using skills like this feel satisfying. If you're accidentally targeting slightly off the monster, the skill will automatically lock on to the cullable target, and it will even do a small amount of pathfinding around obstacles. We really want to make sure that when you've got an opportunity to use the skill, nothing is going to get in your way.
Sure.
Once you have some power charges, you're going to need some skills to power up. A great follow-up is Falling Thunder. Falling Thunder without a power charge just creates a relatively small lightning AoE in front of you. But if you do it with power charges, it turns into a pack clearer with a large number of extra projectiles.
Wow.
One thing to notice here is that, like almost every...
See, that's the way that, like, that's the way I think that they need to do abilities, right? Is, like, I wish Diablo 4 would do this more, is that you have an ability, but it has different functionalities in different situations.
melee skill in PoE 2, Falling Thunder has a little bit of extra movement built in, just in case you need
That's
it.
how you add extra
Use the skill
buttons
within
without
range
adding
and you just
extra
do the flip
buttons.
in place. You use it at a larger range and your character will move forward while executing it, getting you into position without any time penalty. In PoE 2, you also get a short period to redirect your target. Notice how you can start the skill facing one way, then whip the mouse sideways to land the skill in a different direction? Now, in order to get power charges, you're going to first need to get some lower life monsters into a colorable range. You've got a few options if you want to charge right in. Whirling Assault is great. It doesn't do much damage per hit, but it covers a lot of ground. And notice how you can turn as you do it? Generally speaking, you never lose control of your character in PoE 2. If you make a turn at the right time, you can get a couple of extra hits on the monsters, getting them in range of your cull.
I like the way that mob looks. Like the gorilla with like 4 arms and shit. Look at this. That actually looks badass.
Follow up with a Killing Palm and then finish off the rest of the pack with your Falling Thunder. We've now...
Bro, that... Look at that fucking cutscene, or the loading screen. Dude, that's badass. What the fuck? That's insane.
We've now entered the Vaal Mechanarium. This is the place where the Vaal built the various constructs that they relied on to power their civilization.
Ooh. Let me go back.
So
I want to look at the
power
character
their
screen.
civilization.
Okay, so you have gold right there, and it stacks up to 5,000, I'm assuming. And you have all the normal slots that you have now. Okay, yeah, got it.
Now this is a find. A Vaal ruin that hasn't been looted? I wonder why nobody's been in here before.
One useful feature we've added is the ability to call in NPCs to where you are to give you more information or help you with quest objectives, rather than always having to go back to town. In this case, we've called in Alva to find out what to do.
This mechanism. If powered with a small soul core, it could open that door. There should definitely be soul cores somewhere around here. They had to power these constructs somehow.
As Alva just said, we need to find a small soul core to open this door. Let's explore.
Get back!
If you want to shave off some life without getting too close to some of the more dangerous monsters, a great option is Wind Blast. Wind Blast also doesn't do too much damage, but it keeps enemies back. The closer they are, the farther they're pushed back, so it's a great option for keeping smaller but higher damage enemies at bay. Note that the bigger the enemy is, the less they'll be pushed back, so trying to push back some giants isn't going to be as effective.
That makes sense, yeah. I'm actually really glad they're doing a reset on the game with PoE 2, or at least like a soft reset on the game. It's like, I kind of liked whenever Diablo 3 and Diablo 4 at the very beginning of the game, where it's like slower and more methodical combat between a handful of mobs rather than just like clearing screens with AoEs all the time. And I hope that PoE 2 will give them a chance to like go back to that. I remember, I think Kriparian was talking about in a video that that's why he liked Ruthless League, is that it kind of brought back that same feel because of how much harder it is.
And there's the soul core. Let's get back to the door.
I still wish they showed damage numbers. Maybe people get mad at me for saying that, but I do wish they had damage numbers. Okay, so he puts that in there, and I guess that opens the door. Oh, that's cool.
Investigating in here. Bring me in if you find anything else.
Away!
Now, if you need to defeat tougher enemies, it might be time to break out some of the ice skills in the monk's arsenal.
Yeah.
Glacial Cascade creates a wave of ice that moves slowly in front of the player.
Yeah, that was the attack
It's pretty
he used on
ineffective
the,
against fast-moving monsters because most of the damage occurs right at the end of the wave, and so a lot of monsters will just walk right by it. But if you can find a way to make a monster stop at just the right place, it can be very effective.
New World actually has this exact same ability. It works the same way.
In order to do that, you're probably going to want to freeze some monsters. The monk has a few different tools to do this. A fairly simple option is to get right in the monster's face with Ice Strike. Ice Strike doesn't do too much damage in the first two hits, but attack 3 times in sequence and you can get off a combo that has a much higher chance to freeze. Get in there with the freeze, then roll back and finish the job with Glacial Cascade. Now, remember how Glacial Cascade is that extra damaging spike at the end? If you hit a frozen enemy with that spike, it shatters the ice on the enemy and does a devastating amount of damage.
Yeah, I think that like the visual for that
spike,
looks really nice. See, like it shatters them and there's like the pieces everywhere.
Shatters the ice on the enemy and does a devastating amount of damage. This is a really great combo against bosses, as you'll see later. Oh yeah, and I've just been casually mentioning rolling around. Did I forget to mention that in PoE 2 we added a dodge roll to every character? Just press spacebar at any time to roll.
Yep. Stolen right out of Lost Ark. Thank you. It was a great feature in that game. And Diablo 4 also stole it. It's just a better... It's just better. That's it. It's progress.
There's no cooldown and no limitations. And it even has pathfinding in it, so you don't get stuck on anything.
Wow. Wait a second.
On anything. When you...
for sure, man. Yeah. Definitely.
When you dodge roll, you're not invulnerable. If something hits you, you're going to feel it. But most things aren't going to hit you. And that's because while you're rolling, projectiles and melee strikes will always miss. You'll have to roll out of the way of a slam that has AoE, but anyone swinging a sword or throwing a fireball is going to miss. Now, another important function of dodge roll is it lets you cancel out of any skill at any time.
Thank God. Thank God, bro. Getting animation locked.
This makes it so you don't feel like you're getting stuck during a long animation when something's about to hit you.
That's so good. It feels so much better,
It really changes how skills with longer attack and cast times play.
I feel like a game like Dark Souls 1, that like where you have long animations and more methodical, like deliberate combat. Like, I wouldn't want animation canceling in that game, for example, but like, this just isn't that kind of a game.
And makes dodge roll a very reliable feeling way to avoid attacks. So, that's one way to get out of the way of damage, but the monk specializes in mobility, so it would make sense that he would have some more. Wave of Frost is one of our new attacks with a retreat built right in. You move backwards and throw out a cold attack with a significant freeze. The great thing about this is that it puts you at a good distance to follow up with a Glacial Cascade and do a whole pile of damage.
Huh, that was interesting. Did you see this? He walked over the gem and he didn't even need to pick it up. You see that auto loot? That's actually, bro, that's fucking mad. What the fuck? Because I remember Chris Wilson, whenever he was on Allcraft, he actually talked about how, you know, they made, like, for example, they made Metamorph samples auto loot, but why they didn't, it's hidden. Oh, he didn't loot it. He pressed Z. Oh, okay, never mind. I see. I wish there was auto loot for the cheap stuff. I'm gonna be honest, I do. Auto loot for gold is good enough, though. Like, ever since they made it to where you can pick up scrolls and, like, town portal scrolls and stuff in stacks, I feel like that's improved the quality a lot. And it's made it, like, I don't complain about it, like, even 10% as much as I used to.
Another skill you can use to get some extra freeze is Shattering Palm. Shattering Palm is a palm strike that puts a small ice bomb on the target. Kill or deal enough damage to the target and the bomb will explode.
That's cool.
Doing some damage and a significant freeze. It's a great option against bosses where the wave of ice might not be enough to get that freeze off.
Yeah.
But you really want to get, but you still really want to use Glacial Cascade to get the damage bonus.
Yeah, it does look like the gold is auto loot because it disappeared from the ground.
The final skill we're going to show you today is Flicker Strike. It's a monk skill and another skill that consumes power charges. If you've played PoE 1 before, you know what to expect.
Yep. Yep. I remember Quinn played this build one league, and I was so happy whenever he died because I would watch his stream every day, and it was giving me a headache because I didn't like watching Flicker Strike. So whenever he died, I was like, oh, thank God. I don't have to watch this shit anymore.
It's a great finisher for tough boss fights if you were able to get some power charges beforehand.
And also, like, did you guys notice this? So if you look right here, do you guys see what this is? Does anybody notice what this is? This is a debuff, right? And so the way that works is like, so whenever a hostile effect is applied to your character, there is a part of the screen that's allocated towards showing what those hostile effects are. So this is shock, 23% increased damage taken, and it will be active for 2 more seconds. That's pretty crazy.
Beforehand.
I hope that they allow you to have some degree of like a UI optimization. So like if you can move it, like I would want to move that to like here. Why? Because it's so I don't have to look around as much. So I can focus like right in the middle of the screen. The same reason why like power charges are displayed on the character and there's like a, you know, little health bar. Okay, here we go. This is the boss. All right.
Here we have Blackjaw.
And then so if you look here, this is another really crazy thing. So if you look at this right here, this is actually, so you can see the characters on fire, but you can also notice here again the debuff indicator. This is really crazy, is that it's right here on the character. And it shows that you are on fire and the duration of how long you're on fire, and also the fact that, of course, it is fire damage that is attacking you because you can see the debuff. Very cool innovation here that they added into PoE 2.
Overseer of the Mechanarium.
Yeah.
When the Val fell, he was turned to stone and now guards the area.
This guy's got a lot of fucking health.
In order to take down this boss, we're going to need all the tools on the monk's arsenal.
Yeah, he does a lot
especially
of
the combo
damage.
of Freeze and Glacial Cascade. Now, if you're a PoE 1 player, you might think you can't rely on Freeze because there's so many bosses that are immune to it.
Yeah.
But in PoE 2, that's changing significantly. In PoE 1, Freeze is a binary mechanic. An attack freezes the target, or it doesn't. What this basically means is that in PoE 1, we were forced to add freeze immunity to many bosses.
So what they said earlier is that inside of a dodge, you have iframes. Is that right? Because it said you evade melee attacks. That's actually badass.
Because freeze just
only for projectiles? No, they said you avoid melee attacks, projectiles, but not AoE. That's what was said.
Them. Because of that, freezing was something you could only really rely on while pack clearing, and not something you could use as a core part of your build for boss fighting.
No, not really.
In PoE 2, though, all crowd control mechanics now have internal meters that allow you to build up to a freeze or stun, or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, Diablo 4 did this with the stagger bar, and Lost Ark also did it with the stagger bar. And I think the stagger bar is also, it's the same thing as a roll. It's just a great innovation that makes boss fights have another degree of depth to them in ARPGs. I like it. It's good.
CC mechanic that you're using. It's a little bit like poise from games like Elden Ring, though the meters tend to be a lot smaller than those games. When you freeze an enemy, it increases the amount of freeze you need to do to get another freeze, but the increased difficulty bleeds away slowly. More freeze will always let you freeze the boss more often, but this system means that you will not get out of control in party play or interact badly with other CC mechanics, allowing us to let these kinds of mechanics actually work against all bosses.
Pushing him towards the middle. Oh, so you can tell that he's stunned because there's a swirly boy over his head. Isn't that crazy? As an this is a pretty good boss. Like, whenever you think about the amount of mechanics this boss has, this is actually pretty good. There's the large swing, the fire breath, the fire circle, the slam, the triple slam. Like that thing. Wow, bro, in front of everybody. Oh, God.
All right.
Oh.
Let's,
that was planned.
Take two. All right, so this might be a good time to mention that in PoE 2, if you die to the boss, you have to start again from the start. There's no boss cheesing. So, hang on. Oh, there might be a... Are you okay?
No boss cheesing. That's probably a good idea. Realistically. Like, like... Because there are shit bosses, but... in a world where the bosses aren't shit, then there should be no reason to have to cheese them.
1 second. One technical issue. It's just typing some cheats to... All right, we good?
He's opening up the pay-to-win store.
Back to the,
Guys,
stream.
don't listen to them. Yeah, he just bought a boost.
All right.
Round 2.
Let's go.
Whoever balanced that, like, come on. Oh, yeah.
You know what's also kind of crazy about this? Is I bet this little fire indicator tells you that he does fire damage. Isn't that crazy? Or maybe he has fire resist? Oh, that could be it too, you're right. That's nuts. And so there are resists in this game. And so did the resist work though? Well, yeah, because like, I mean, you know, it's one thing to just have resists in your game, and it's another thing for the resist to actually work. I mean, you know, I don't know. That's a lot. He's joking. He increases damage, or increases level or something. He's not going to die again. I kind of want to see him get killed again. I do. I think he'll probably kill it this time, but like, still would be really funny.
Come on, get the freeze.
I love how everybody's just watching.
Oh.
It's like, everybody probably feels bad for him because he's like fucking it up, but it's still really funny. Oh! Holy.
Okay, do the... Oh, nice.
Bro, he's backseating him?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Do the thing, do the stun. Okay. Unless he has like a 20% enrage, I feel like he's got it, you know? He's only used one potion.
Give me a freeze. Come on.
And also, like, if you notice, this is like another really cool thing that's like a new like feature that like a lot of games don't have, is that there's like a sound indicator whenever the boss is going to do a large attack that is dangerous. So like, for example, like he says taste flame, and then he does like the big like fire attack. Have you noticed that? That's crazy, right? Wow.
Oh, hey.
It's crazy how, you know, there's like so many new things in this game. You said it did only practice run and then he died on the real one? Yeah, of course. Like, no, I would have done the same thing.
Freeze, freeze, freeze. Oh, oh shit! Whoa, whoa. Oh, come on, come on. No. Get it. They're so good. There you go, there you go.
After this, after this, after this.
No.
Bro, they're telling him what to do.
Okay. All right. Okay, there we go.
Wait, oh, did he execute him there?
No.
Oh, he did, because you can see so the blue thing even works on bosses.
Get him. Okay. All right. Okay,
dude, that's badass.
All right.
Easy call. That was really
all right.
cool.
Second time's the charm. So, Blackjaw has dropped a consumable quest item here called the Flame Core. It's a permanent +10 to Spirit. In PoE 2, we really want to make sure that you feel rewarded for exploration. It wouldn't be much good if we made all these awesome optional bosses if we didn't have something great to find for killing them. One of the things you might find for killing a boss is permanent stat bonuses for your character.
Cool.
I wonder what Spirit does.
All right, now because this random area is different, Mark will have to find his way to the exit the hard way.
This is, because I died, this is no longer rehearsed at all.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I like the shatter. The shatter looks cool. I want to see what does it sound like shattering 50 mobs at a time, because that's what matters. The footage is foliage is so clean. Yeah. Like, I would say the graphics for this, like, these are pretty much Diablo 4 level graphics. Because I know that a lot of people were critical of PoE, that the graphics of the game are not as good as Diablo 4. And, like, I think that it's definitely true. Diablo 4 massively clears PoE 1. But, like, this is equivalent to PoE. Sorry, equivalent to Diablo 4. This game's like Diablo, but less mass killing. No, it probably is going to be more, but it's, like, not later on, until, like, later on in the game. I don't know, though. Oh, and so this is another thing. This guy has like a hex font or whatever it is. So like if you notice this is another crazy thing. Is so, as you can see here, he has elemental weakness, vulnerability, and weaken on him, while also having another debuff. So if you look at here, I want to draw your attention over to you know, the top right-hand, left-hand part of the screen, that there is an indicator for the different effects that are affecting his character. And this is useful for a player because it helps them get an idea of, you know, like what's happening. Should I go into attack? Like what's happening to me at all? And like they also show on the top of the character, right? And so there's two different ways that you can know that. It's crazy how I don't know why more games don't use that. What?
Oh no. Around this way.
Need to use those killing palms more often, Mark.
Getting back seated.
Your fate is sealed.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You're playing Marauder or Necromancer, bro, he'd be done with. He'd be probably in the end game now. He'd be being mad.
My poor heart.
I mean, let's be honest.
Lightning strike. Oh. I think you got completely lost there.
It'd be cool to see some other bosses.
I have no idea
too.
where I am.
We'll go kill more.
All right. Yeah, there we go. All right, here we are. Here we are. Here's the exit.
Okay.
I'm going to die to these sentinels somehow.
Let's keep watching. Oh, I am. Yeah, they are, the trailers are usually very slow.
Right. Let's go
and then
through.
the end game is going to be a lot faster.
All right.
That's kind of what I expect.
All right. In order to help with the next area, we're going to call in a sorceress. I'd like to welcome Octavian to the stage, who's going to join the party with Mark, so they can play through together.
Crip's name is Octavian. I was actually, I thought they were going to bring Crip on stage. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
All right, 1 second.
I thought the same thing, yeah.
All right. Here we go. All right. The Sorceress is the new intelligence-focused character in PoE 2. While the Witch focuses more on occult magic and summoning, the Sorceress is themed around pure elemental destruction.
Okay.
Let's have a look at how it plays.
This is the largest soul core I've ever seen. With this, we could power the canal systems. But it isn't charged.
This dude is locked in.
There is still latent energy in this machinarium from its ancient operation. These lines in the stonework should lead to generators. You might need to find some more soul cores to spin them up, but everything looks to be in surprisingly decent condition. Maybe
no
the golems
pressure,
have been maintaining it. In any case, it should still function. We'll have to remove that large core from the wall, of course, but that shouldn't be a problem.
We have some skills here you're probably going to recognize if you've played PoE 1 before, but they feel a bit different now.
Okay.
Spark is great in these tight passages since it bounces around. We've added a Pierce support gem to really allow it to hit an entire room full of targets. For a more single target focused skill, Arc is a great choice. It does much more damage than the first target that you hit.
I feel like, yeah, Spark, that's good.
Now, if you find yourself surrounded, it might be a good idea to use Ice Nova. It hits all enemies around you and slows them down with a chill. Just be careful.
Okay.
Getting up close and personal isn't the ideal place for a sorceress to be. She doesn't have the defenses of a more melee-oriented character. In order to help with that, though, you could use Arctic Armor. In PoE 2, Arctic Armor is a buff that builds up as you stand still. You can see the ice crystals forming around the character. They drop off if you walk.
I see. Okay.
When monsters hit you, they take cold damage and build up to a freeze. So it's a great defense. Just be careful. You have to be standing still for a little while to get the full effect, so trying to stutter step using it isn't the best strategy.
That was fucking
now,
badass.
Arctic Armor is trying to stutter step using it isn't the best. Just be careful. You have to be standing still for a little while to get the full effect, so trying to stutter step using it isn't the best strategy.
Oh, it's so good.
Now, Arctic Armor is an ongoing buff, but did you notice it didn't reserve any mana? How does that work? Well, we were pretty sick of the fact that in PoE 1, basically every character was playing with no mana pool, so we decided to change the way that reservation works. In PoE 2, there's a new resource called Spirit. Spirit is a dedicated resource that you can use for ongoing effects like Arctic Armor, Heralds, Auras, and Minions.
Wow. That's actually probably a smart idea. Because yeah, if you're watching, like, unless it's an Archmage build or something like that, this blue bar is gray. And half of this bar is sometimes gray too.
Everyone starts with 100 Spirit, which is enough for most ongoing effects. But if you want more, you're going to need to get some more Spirit, which is available on mods from items and on the passive tree. But if you're willing to go up your offhand slot, the easiest way to get it is by holding a Scepter. Find out more about that in the items talk later on.
Okay.
Now, if you want to increase the cold damage that you're dealing, you can always use Frost Bomb. It places a bomb on the ground that reduces enemies' cold resistance while it's ticking down.
I probably should have used that with my War.
It's a great opportunity to use some cold skills before it explodes.
Or Eye of Winter.
And speaking of cold skills, a great skill to use on monsters with lower cold resistance is Comet. This is a new skill in PoE 2 and it hits pretty damn hard. Costs a lot of mana and has a really long cast time, but it's worth the wait. It does a devastating amount of damage. To help you out of danger, your character moves back slightly as it casts.
Oh, that's
cool. It's pretty hard to hit fast-moving opponents, but it's great on tougher enemies that stand still.
I kind of like that. I feel like PoE, like, besides Divine Ire, do we really have any abilities that you have to sit and cast? Not a whole lot.
Or even a larger pack if you're further away and can predict where they're going to move.
Yeah, channeling skills. Yeah, I guess some channeling.
Now, if you run out of mana casting too many of those, I guess in an emergency you could use your free-to-cast Fireball. So where did that come from, you ask? Well, this is a great opportunity to explain the way that we've changed caster weapons in PoE 2.
Okay.
Now, in PoE 1, caster weapons had a default melee attack that nobody used. And because they had that...
Did they? I didn't know that. I guess that proves his point.
They also had a bunch of attack. PoE 2, we wanted to clean that up. So each staff now comes...
Oh, wow. Oh, shit.
Comes with a built-in free-to-cast spell.
Bro, yeah. Can you imagine, like, some fucking OP staff with, like, some implicit gives, like, a level 30 fucking Meteor Storm or, like, level 30 Storm Brand? Armageddon Brand? Oh, fuck.
Just put it on and spam away to your heart's content. Now, this particular staff is the base type that you'll get right on the starting beach, so it's quite likely that you'll have outgrown it by now. So that's why we've also made a lot of staves with more utility-focused powers for casters to use. Here we have a crystal staff. It has a pretty cool built-in spell called Unleash. Using it slams your staff on the ground and will allow you to triple cast whatever you cast with your next spell. Now, of course, what you're probably going to want to use with that is something powerful, and Comet is a great option.
Damn.
You'll notice that Unleash is one of the few skills in PoE 2 with a cooldown. In general, we really try to avoid using cooldowns because we really hate the feeling that combat is just waiting to cast your next spell. But it does make sense for Unleash since it's free to...
I feel like they do have cooldowns with Vol spells, but okay.
Cast, and it's something we want you to use situationally anyway.
Yeah.
Now, if you're facing something tough, you might need to try out Mana Tempest. Mana Tempest creates a circle of power which your character literally hovers over the ground. While in the circle, your mana drains, but it powers up all your spells. Lightning projectiles will fork, beams will chain further, and you also do a lot more damage.
This actually looks fun to play. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that looks fun to play. What the fuck? Wow. That's crazy. That's weird, man. So... Huh. Wow.
No mana.
By the way, everybody's spamming about how Diablo 4 is bad. Dude, you should have seen the first time that PoE came out publicly. Everybody in the general chat was spamming how Diablo 3 was bad. Like, the entire general chat, everybody was talking about, bro, like, I'm so fucking tired of the shit game. It was the exact same thing. If anybody played the closed beta, you remember that. I wonder why. It was funny, like, everybody's talking about Diablo 3.
So, with all of these skills, here's a great combo to try. First, cast Frost Bomb to reduce the target's cold resistance. Then use Mana Tempest to increase your damage. Follow up with Unleash, and then triple cast Comet to do a truly insane amount of damage.
Okay, let's see it. Jesus.
Where those ghosts come from?
These ghosts.
Yeah.
Whose fault is that?
This rare monster has dropped an uncut gem, and that's a great opportunity to talk about how skill gems drop in PoE 2. Instead of dropping specific gems, you can find uncut gems. Just right-click on them and pick whatever skill you want. Ignore the, whoops.
So, we have Arc. Oh, bro, I used to dude, Arc is, like, in my opinion, like, Arc is such a good quality of life spell. I've leveled with Arc before, like, probably 3 or 4 times, and it's just insanely fucking good. cast on shock?
The gem will come pre-leveled to the level of the area that dropped it. So it's a lot easier to change between skills in PoE 2.
That's cool.
This time, I think it might be cool to grab one of our meta gems. Meta gems are skills that can have other skills socketed into them, changing how they work. In this case, we're going to select Cast on Shock.
Okay.
Now, let's equip this thing on the skill screen and choose which spell to trigger with it.
What the fuck? Okay, so then there it is. And then you equip it, and then these different things.
Comment might be fun.
Okay.
Now, because Cast on Shock reserves Spirit, we'll need to first disable our Arctic Armor. We have to decide if we'd rather have the extra defense or the extra offense of the Cast on Shock using our Spark.
Offense, go offense.
In PoE 2, trigger gems use a system of filling up cast time on each trigger. Basically, if a skill has a short cast time, it will trigger really often. And if it has a long cast time, like this comet here, it will take a lot longer to trigger. You can see on the top left corner that there's a counter that shows you how long until the next trigger.
I see. It's a debuff. It's a buff, I mean, yeah. So you have to shock, it looks like 10 times?
Hopefully he shocks the monsters. There we go. And there you have it. That's using Cast on Shock. We've automatically cast Comet whenever we're using our lightning skills.
It's crazy to see how, like, the combat, like, even inside of this gameplay demo, a 30-minute gameplay demo, the combat has already seemed to be multi-layered, where you have, like, multiple things where you can, like, unleash, you have, like, damage pools that you can stand into. Like, this is incredible. Wow.
So, we found the generator. Time to power it up.
That's cool.
As power is restored to the Mechanarium, all the constructs are coming back to life. We'll need to fight them on the way back to the charged Soul Core. So, one thing that PoE 1 players might have noticed is this character has both lightning spells and cold spells.
True.
That's pretty inefficient, right?
Yes, yeah.
A big no-no for most builds because any specialization into cold or lightning isn't going to affect the other elements.
Right.
And generic elemental damage increases are not going to be as powerful as focusing on a single element. Well, in PoE 2 we have another major new system to introduce to solve these kinds of problems. And it starts, oddly enough, with weapon swap. Now, in PoE 1, weapon swap isn't really used much for its originally intended purpose.
No, it's not.
We imagine that people were going to be swapping in and out between different weapons to deal with whatever situation they were in. People just don't do that at all. And a large reason for that is because it's really, really awkward.
It is.
In PoE 2, we wanted to solve all of that. The staff Octavian is using here has an ice mod on it that makes it great for when he's using his ice spells. But we would also like to be able to make sure that this build works just as well for his lightning spells. If Octavian equips his previous staff in his second weapon set, you can see that it appears on the character's back. Now, we're going to open up the skill screen.
Okay, cool.
If Octavian opens the skill options for his lightning skills, you can see here that you can choose which weapon sets are usable with each skill.
Great.
First, we uncheck set 1 from being used by his lightning skills. Then we
Oh shit! So they're doing? Are they doing it the exact same way that they did that barbarians work in Diablo 4?
go through the cold skills and turn those off with his lightning weapon.
Because like Barb in Diablo 4 is perfect. Oh, this is badass.
If I can remember where they all are.
Yeah. Now, when we use Spark, the character will automatically switch to the lightning staff on his back and then use the skill. And when Octavian uses his Ice Nova, his character automatically switches to his Ice Staff before using it.
Wow. I have to say, though, I don't really think that solves the problem. Because people are still going to want to get like a lot of like cold damage modifiers or something like that out of their passive tree or their gear. So I don't really know if that's going to solve it, but let it, all right, wait for it. Okay. All right.
You can configure each skill for which set to use, or both if you don't mind which. There's a very short time penalty to switching, so it can be good to leave some skills on both sets if it doesn't matter which weapon set you're using. But we still have a problem. Passives. Wouldn't it be nice if
That's so true. Great point.
we could specialize in both cold and lightning passives on the character? Well, in PoE 2 you can.
How?
Hopefully Mark can deal with those monsters while we do this demo. So, we're on the passive skill screen here, and you can see that we are close to both a cold and a lightning cluster. At the top right of the screen, you can see that we have some weapon set specific points to allocate. If Octavian holds shift, he can allocate set 1 to the cold passives, and then allocate set 2 to the lightning passives.
Oh my god. Holy shit. 2 trees?
Now,
what about gear? Yeah.
Check it out. As we use our weapon swap, the skills allocate changes from one build to the other automatically.
Okay.
So whenever we cast the appropriate spell, the character's passives reconfigure on the fly to the correct build for that spell.
That's badass.
Now, you can't do this with every single passive on your tree. Only points granted from skill books will allow this kind of dual specialization. So you're not going to be changing from a mace slamming warrior into a fire elementalist with the press of a button. But it certainly increases the number of options you have for builds. There's a huge number of places where the system can shine. You can
I do worry that, like, usually, like in PoE 1, the meta is usually hyper-focusing into one ability and then building everything into making that one ability as good as possible and using that for everything. So, I'll be curious to see if they're able to counteract that.
Augment your Dagger Shadow build with traps, or have a great curse set up on your Witch with one spec, and then move to your Chaos debuff spells with the other, for example. It really opens up your options. Now, another fun metagem to try out is called Barrier Invocation. This works a little bit like the trigger gems I talked about before, but this one charges up as your energy shield is hit by monsters.
Okay.
We're going to put an Ice Nova in this one. The more energy shield you lose, the more charge builds up. We'll just get that one equipped there. Yep. So yeah, the more energy shield you lose, the more charge will build up until the point you're able to cast the socketed skill instantly. There we go. So you lose some, so you lose some energy shield, and at just the right time, invoke Ice Nova to cast all the stacked up copies in one instant cast.
Oh, I bet, is that the 7% right there? Let me see it. Yeah, it was. It's a 7% right here.
So you lose some, so you lose some energy shield, and at just the right time, invoke Ice Nova to cast all the stacked up copies in one instant cast. If you keep losing shield, you'll build up even more charge for even more casts. So it's a great defensive option in an emergency.
If you look again, another kind of interesting thing is this is a debuff that was applied. It's bleeding, I believe, is applied to the player, and the player is aware of the fact that they have this debuff on them because there's an indicator on the screen that tells them what the debuff is and also how long it will be applied to the player. That's crazy. Wow. It's crazy what like technology can do nowadays.
Overkill.
And here we are back at the charged soul core. All we have to do now is take it.
Okay, is this the boss? This has got to be a boss room, right? It's 100% a boss room. Just take functions like Spell Street, they're going nuts. Yeah, exactly, of course. Yeah, it looks great.
Over, what the?
Don't die this time, guys.
Frozen?
Nice. Wait.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of like the Maven attack. This is badass.
Get away from the wall.
Oh god.
Frozen boss?
Frozen,
yeah, you can freeze the boss.
Frozen, nice.
Helps that we're both doing ice damage. Cold damage.
Okay, so there's like different combos he can do. Oh wow.
He's stunned.
I wish they would add a stagger bar for stuns. It'd be nice to know like how close you are.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, that's cool.
Frozen?
Look at how many abilities they do. The percentage? No, that's something different. Like, I feel like it's been like 8 different abilities.
Getting real lucky with those freeze procs this time.
All skill.
Well, telegraphed attacks? No way. Yeah, I know. Look at it.
Nice. Frozen.
Look at that. See, the lightning does different things. That's crazy. That's like the Arakali, is that his name? Boss in Act like fucking 7.
Triangle.
Looks awesome, yeah.
Oh.
That's the explosion. OP hitboxes, yeah.
Charlie.
Nice.
What does it look like in the dark? Just lays down.
So that's Path of Exile 2. These areas, as well as around half of each of the first
like,
4 acts, are available to play at the 3 demo zones around Exilecon. Now, if you're physically here at this event and you get to play the demo, just remember, it's a different game than before. It's a lot harder. You're probably going to run the first pack of monsters and just die. I really recommend you read the signs. They have good advice on how to combine your skills effectively, and remember, dodge rolls on spacebar, use it. You're just going to die otherwise.
Okay, good.
So your next question is likely to be, when is the beta? Well, we're in our last year of development, but we're still finishing acts, adding skills, and balancing everything. The closed beta is going to start on June 7th.
Oh, fuck.
2024. Path of Exile 2 has been a long time coming, and we're incredibly excited to be near the finish line, but we're just not quite there yet. We're determined not to rush this and make sure we get everything right.
Okay.
In the meantime, there's a lot in store for PoE 1. I'll hand back over to Chris, and he's going to...
That's fine.
talk about what's coming up. Thank you very much.
All right. Yep. Whenever it's ready, it's ready. If it's ready in a year, good. Elden Ring. Remember the Elden Ring took a long time, didn't it?
So that demo is very hard for them to do in person. Like, I am very impressed it went that well.
Immediately comes to
So
talking
as Jonathan
shit.
explained, Path of Exile 1 will continue to be its own unique game once Path of Exile 2 comes out. We will continue to update it with expansions and leagues going forward. And because accounts and microtransactions are shared between the 2 games, and their expansion releases are offset from each other, it's super easy to jump between them. And if
That's actually really good that he mentioned that. That, like, so you're not going to have to pick whenever a new one comes out. It's kind of like how, like, Retail WoW and Classic WoW, where it's like, you know, one has a peak, then the other one does, and the other one does, you know, it's like fucking, you know, that's perfect.
effectively play both if you want. So I'm going off script for a second here and just going to explain this a bit better. Imagine we release a Path of Exile 2 expansion, right?
Okay.
So everyone dives in and plays it. You give it, say, out of the 13-week cycle, you're going to play for, you know, some hardcore players play for the first few weeks, some people play for most of the time. We're going to aim a Path of Exile 1 expansion to come out towards the end of that cycle, say 4 or 5 weeks from the end, which also lasts for 3 months.
Yeah.
So because Path of Exile 2 has more content and is a significantly larger game, it will mean that you can play Path of Exile 2 for the majority of the cycle, and then either keep playing if you want to keep playing Path of Exile 2, or jump into Path of Exile 1 when its league launches and enjoy that, either for the entire period or until the next Path of Exile 2 one comes out.
Great.
And of course, because your purchases are shared, if you were to buy supporter packs or microtransactions in either, they're just available on your characters in the other. Speaking of Path of Exile 1 expansions, we've got one coming out in just 3 weeks, on August 18th. Let's watch the trailer for Path of Exile, Trial of the Ancestors.
All right, let's see it. Let's see it.
Souls such as yours do not go quietly into the night.
Oh, not her.
They thirst for battle. They yearn to prove themselves. Welcome to the halls of the dead. Earn your place among us. And under Henikora's watchful eye. Test your mettle against the greatest warriors who ever lived.
Is this a new Hall of the Grandmasters? It's not, right?
Prove yourself in the trial of the ancestor.
There's a turtle? Oh, what the fuck? Wait, is it an auto battler? New support gems? What the fuck? Holy shit! Sanctum's back? I didn't play Sanctum. All new chieftain.
In the end,
oh shit,
only one can become champion.
I played chieftain twice.
Be you?
That's badass. 14 new gems.
In the Kurui afterlife, the fallen chieftains of each tribe participate in a tournament called the Trial of the Ancestors. You will journey to the afterlife, assemble your own team, and enter the tournament to battle those chieftains and earn valuable rewards. As you play through areas in the Ancestor Challenge League, you'll find tradable silver coins. Using them will take you to the Kurui afterlife, where you will encounter Navali, who you may remember from the Prophecy League. Yeah. Each coin allows you to play a match of the tournament. You start the tournament with a basic team consisting of 3 warriors. The tournament is double elimination, meaning you're allowed to have 1 loss without consequence. A second loss eliminates you from the tournament. Your team will compete against 10 other tribes, and you choose who you're going to challenge next out of the teams left in the tournament. When you start a match, you see the configuration of the enemy team and get to place your team of warriors on the battlefield to challenge theirs. You and your party of exiles will play alongside your warriors. So while this league does have many elements of an auto-battler, you're right there fighting alongside them.
Okay.
During a match, when a warrior dies, they respawn at their totem after a short time. If their totem is destroyed, then they are instantly killed and can't respawn. The team that destroys all of the opposing totems wins. If you're playing a hardcore character, though, don't worry. Hinokora, the goddess of death, is watching over you and will restore your soul to your body, so you can't permanently die in the afterlife. Like that. In the Trial of the Ancestors, strategy and tactics are key. Every unit has its own strengths and weaknesses that must be utilized to win matches. The turtle is really slow and really tanky.
Yeah.
It's perfect for either defensive positioning to stop flankers or offensive positioning to tank hits for you if you're pushing through the middle. It's not great in the center or flank positions due to its slow movements.
I just want to get really good gear and just fucking click a bunch of shit and then just go in solo and kill everybody.
Speed. The Tuatara is a quick and deceptive unit, which is relatively well balanced for all positions. This version of the Tuatara has a stealth ability, which makes it perfect for the flanking position, to sneak through enemy defenses and take out unprotected totems from the side. The Goliath of Might is a disruptor unit, and it's ideally placed in a center position to intercept enemies that are chasing you. You can also allocate it to defenses, so that it disrupts enemies that are trying to kill your totems by stunning them. So in this match here, we've set up a Tuatara in a flanking position, a turtle on defense to guard our totems, and a Goliath to follow us as we attack up the middle. Our plan is to work with the Goliath to distract the enemy front line so the flanking Tuatara can get through and destroy some of their totems.
I really like the outfit that this guy has. Like, if this is gonna be, I might buy this one. That's cool. It's a cool sword, yeah.
Teamwork. Upon winning a match, you earn favor and other rewards. I'll talk about the other rewards shortly. There are a lot. You have a separate amount of favor with each tribe, and you can spend it by talking to their chieftain to recruit warriors and purchase field items and...
Remember what we were talking about yesterday about, like, omnivore content? Like we were watching that video about having games within games to keep people engaged with a base game, even whenever they're tired of the core gameplay loop. I think this is a great example of that.
Equipment that your team can use. Each tribe has specific specialities. For example, Hinakora's tribe manipulates life and death. Rongo Kurai's tribe is slow and tanky, with an emphasis on stuns and knockbacks. You can recruit warriors from many different tribes and mix and match them together into your team based on what you need. Field items are items that are placed on the battlefield and can be activated during the match to, for example, revive a warrior or heal your entire team.
Okay.
If a field item isn't consumed within a match, it persists on to the next match. But your warriors, their equipment, and your field items are all wiped between tournaments. You enter each tournament fresh.
Okay.
Your success in a tournament updates your overall ranking, which helps you earn better rewards in subsequent ones. Speaking of rewards, let's discuss the good part. What you can earn for succeeding at the trial of the Ends. You can tell this gets me excited. Okay. You get a reward as you win each round of the tournament, and these rewards are visible when you're selecting.
This is a small dexterity passive skill, 2% increased move. Okay.
Which tribe you want to play against. They'll help inform your decision, as some of them are regular rewards and some are exclusive new rewards you can only get from the Trial of the Ancestors. I'm literally tripping over my words to get to the part where I can explain tattoos. Okay. The Ancestors reward you with special tattoos that are not applied to your skin, but they're engraved on your soul. This process can transform what your attribute skills on the passive tree do, basically the attribute highway nodes generally. The regular ones can only be applied to basic attribute skills and allow you to convert your tree's attribute highways into something more useful for you.
So is this like a more deterministic way? Like I'm like, maybe I should just probably let him talk, but like this is reminding me a lot of the Timeless Jewels.
For example, this one converts a small dexterity skill into movement speed. Each tribe has its own exclusive passive tattoos. This tattoo converts a small strength skill into additional fire resistance. This one converts a small intelligence skill into additional lightning damage. And this one converts a small strength skill into one that summons a minion when you take a savage hit from a unique enemy. But don't go overboard on the number of skills you convert with tattoos, as you'll probably need at least some of your attributes left to equip items.
Yeah.
Each of the 10 tribes has an exclusive unique...
8% increased armor, 2% life on kill, 900 to maximum life if there are no life modifiers on other equipped items. Holy shit.
Item that you can earn. These rarely show up as rewards for defeating that tribe in a match. Katava's Hunger is a...
Yeah, I think this is also a 1C item. Like, that's a lot, but... I don't know. I mean, I think that, like...
unique majestic plates that you can earn by defeating the Katava tribe. As you can see, it grants an immense amount of life for a single item, providing you don't have any life on any other pieces of your equipment. While this is tricky to accomplish, it also frees up all those other potential life slots to be something else that benefits your build, making it pure upside. This amulet is a unique item you can earn by defeating the
This sucks.
Arohongui tribe. It has the powerful effect of causing your flasks to instantly recover life and mana whenever you're low. This could potentially be a powerful panic button, or maybe you want to build around permanently being on low life or mana, so all of your flask usage is instant.
That's true. I could see maybe there could be a good interaction with this and, oh, what's the thing that you can't regenerate above low life? Petrified Blood. We'll see.
If you manage to win the entire tournament, you'll not only receive the reward for the final match, but Hinokora will also give you a choice of 3 additional... Next. Sorry, button didn't...
I don't know. I don't think this one would be very good. Because like, so you could use like Brass Dome, right, to like negate critical strikes. But I don't, yeah.
Of 3 additional exclusive items, let's have a look at some of the things you may be offered.
Okay.
First up, there are 4 unique items that exclusively come from Hinokura for completing the tournament. This belt, for example, lists a plethora of really powerful properties, both beneficial and detrimental. While you're wearing the belt, the property shifts around every 5 seconds. You never know what's going to happen next. Will you always crit, always evade, never evade? Maybe you're able to find some ways to build around the detrimental effects to create as much upside as possible.
30 intelligence notables. Oh, fuck. That's a big boy. Especially because, you know, like a lot of them, it's got a blue one and a red one, or a blue one and a green one right next to each other. Dude, that is insane.
Hinokura also has a selection of special, more advanced passive tree tattoos that you can only receive from her. This one transforms a 30 intelligence notable attribute skill into one that increases the level of all of your intelligence gems.
That's nuts.
You're only allowed 1 copy of the specific attribute combination tattoo on a tree. Hinokura can also award you with a new type of item called an omen. These are small items that sit in your inventory until a condition is met, at which point they are consumed and something happens. In this case, when you reach 25% life, your flasks are all replenished. Now don't worry, each player can only consume 1 omen per combat area, so you don't have any reason to fill your entire inventory with them. This one creates a portal on death.
I'll be using these.
We made it for me.
Yeah, for sure.
It won't try to save your life, but it will save you some time. This one grants you Soul Eater when you level up. It's definitely worth carrying around for that occasional massive power boost.
That's cool.
Omens are tradable but hard to get, so use them carefully. I shudder to think about how much this one is going to be worth in the presence of those incredibly rare unique weapons from 320. Now note, going off script again here, back in the day, when we had stuff like the Prophecy and so on that let you upgrade to rare forcibly on a specific base type, we had to block the good items by putting crap uniques on the, sorry, I meant upgrade to unique. We put crap uniques on that base type so that you couldn't...
Yeah, you did do that, huh? Thank you. Yeah, I thought that's why, yeah, nobody gives a fuck about Worm's Molt, do they? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Get it every time. Well, we stopped doing that. So a lot of the uniques that were upgraded in 320 are just the only thing on the base type. So items like this let you deterministically get something quite valuable, hence they are quite rare. The most exciting one, though. Finally, Hinokura can offer you a lock of her hair. This is a very special currency item that lets you foresee the result of using another currency item to craft something. This
Wow. Holy shit. Can you explain it? So, like, imagine you do a roll, like, you know, and I don't know, maybe don't play Diablo 4 either. But, like, so you're doing you're applying a buff to an item. Modifying the item in any way removes the ability to foresee. So you can only do this once, right? Per item? See, that's what makes it so crazy, because like this is obviously probably going to be like I would say probably like a 1 divine item, you know, something like that. At least for this league, depending on if they remove it afterwards, it'll probably go up. It'll probably be like 1 divine. I don't think it's going to be more, but try 50? Ooh, I don't think so. I don't think so, but it depends on how rare it is. If it's as rare as I think it will be, based off of it being a current level League mechanic, I don't see it being more than 5 divines. Yeah, and so basically, every single time that you apply a buff, right, to something, that, like, yeah, when somebody said double corrupt isn't actually a currency. Double corrupt is applied through the altar. So I don't think double corrupt works with this, but a regular Vol Orb would. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so imagine it just basically tells you what you're going to roll before you roll it. And like, so also rolling these things can, like, you can do a roll of the dice that will make you the equivalent of, like, I don't know, 1,000,000 gold, or lose you everything immediately.
Means, for example, you can know whether it's worth exalting your item because you'll know exactly what the outcome is.
Yeah.
Hinakora's Lock will slot into your crafting pipeline with powerful consequences. The Trial of the Ancestors offers a wide selection of valuable new rewards as you complete matches and tournaments. We really look forward to seeing what strategies you develop for building, equipping, carefully placing, and playing alongside your tribe. So that's the new Challenge League, but Path of Exile expansions contain more than just a new league every 3 months. In each update, we also augment Path of Exile's endgame and shift the metagame with new gems and balance changes. This expansion is no exception. I'm going to explain the other changes in a medium amount of detail. I'm conscious that we have both new and existing players. For new players, I'm going to try to include some extra content to help make the change.
If you want to understand Path of Exile's crafting system, you have to understand that the depth of Path of Exile's crafting system is deeper than Diablo 3 and Diablo 4 put together, the entirety of both games. If you ask somebody who plays Path of Exile and who has played Path of Exile for the last 10 years how well they understand a crafting system, most of them will say, a little bit.
Just more understandable. You can find out all the detail in the patch notes and other information we'll be posting in the few weeks before release. Let's start with how the Trial of the Ancestors expansion expands Path of Exile's endgame. In December last year, we released an expansion called The Forbidden Sanctum, which introduced the Sanctum Challenge League. This league was a roguelike game set within Path of Exile where you would randomly explore a randomly generated sanctum one room at a time, alongside your regular play. You'd pick which rooms...
I never got a chance to play this league, so if they're adding this back, I'll be curious to try it out.
You wanted to explore out of several options and accumulate beneficial boons and detrimental afflictions that made your run easier and harder, respectively. Not only did Sanctum work really well as a league, but it also had the potential to be added to Path of Exile as part of its core endgame content, alongside systems like mapping, delve, and heist. Well, in this expansion, the Forbidden Sanctum is back.
All right. All right.
I've really been looking forward to this one. We're reintroducing the Sanctum as core content in Path of Exile's endgame. You'll initially meet Divinia, the Sanctum NPC, in Act 10. Sanctums are now tradable items that you can find while playing maps in the endgame. A forbidden tome represents a whole floor of the Sanctum, and its rooms can be played back-to-back, or you can take breaks between them and do something else if you choose. Upon successfully completing that Sanctum floor, the next floor is generated as a tradable item with all of the state of your Sanctum run built in.
I love how they learned this from Expedition. Or no, Incursion, and they've just kind of applied this to everything going forward. I'm so glad.
It means that the item stores what boons and afflictions you had, what rewards you've locked in, and how much resolve you have left. You can then either play this floor or trade it to someone else if it feels more beneficial.
Yeah, sure.
For example, let's say you manage to lock in...
Oh, that's a good one. Look at that. Receive 1x Mirror of Kalandra. That's... Yeah, that one... Yeah, that'd be good.
A really valuable reward.
Yeah.
The example here is a Mirror of Kalandra, but you'll also notice that... Do I have a laser pointer? It doesn't work on the board. Okay, 1 resolve. This is an example here where the player has a very good reward locked in, but a massive pile of dangerous afflictions and only 1 resolve on them. If you don't feel capable of completing the rest of the Sanctum from this point, then it would normally be a write-off, right? If you gave this to me, no way am I getting that mirror. But you can now trade the Sanctum state to someone else who is willing to pay for the chance to earn the mirror.
So you know what this creates, right? It's a 1 resolve equals 1 HP. Oh, wow. Not only does it create an economy around it, but it also allows you to build a character to play hard maps like this.
Or lose it. And you can look at expected value in economics, right? It's worth some percentage of that mirror. So you trade it for like 5 chaos to someone, they run it and lose their chaos. Your relics, which act as passive bonuses within the Sanctum, are locked in for the run when you...
This is what they did with Lost Epoch, right? Or Last Epoch? They had some sort of system that was similar to this. Because whenever I looked at their system, I thought that was genius. Like, if this works the way I think it works, this is such an awesome idea.
You start the first floor and can't be changed for the rest of the run. Speaking of relics, they're now tradable and have been rebalanced around this. To those of you wondering, we have decided against bringing back sanctified relics for now. A complete Sanctum run now requires killing the final boss, Lycia, in both her first and second form. She will always drop a unique relic, and these have been reworked and replaced as we rebalanced everything.
Okay.
An important aspect of the new Sanctum balance is that your primary defenses now have some effect on protecting your resolve. Your armor allows you to mitigate resolve loss, and your evasion grants you a chance to avoid resolve loss entirely, a lot like how armor and evasion work.
Right.
Your energy shield grants you resolve Aegis, which is a mechanic that works similarly to how energy shield behaves for life.
See, that's what I was saying, right? It's like people that are built like this, they can maybe do one of those runs, a one-life run. You see what I'm saying?
In light of the new defensive opportunities and learnings from the original Challenge League, we've rebalanced the difficulty of Sanctum, especially in later floors, and have worked to add more monster and room variety to runs. We've added new boons and afflictions themed around the new defensive mechanics and have rebalanced many of the other ones. Like other optional endgame systems that involve tradable items, players who don't want to play Sanctum can trade their Sanctums to other players in exchange for an item or currency that benefits them more. Successful Sanctum play can generate a lot of rewards. It'll potentially be possible to build characters dedicated to Sanctum running and just farm Sanctums repeatedly in order to...
See, they get it. Bro, they get it. That's what it's about, is giving people different ways to play the game to extend their investment in the game.
The profit.
Thank God.
Sanctum isn't the only improvement that Trial of the Ancestors brings to Path of Exile's endgame. We're also introducing 16 new Atlas Keystone passives to the Atlas passive tree. As a quick summary for new players joining us, the Atlas tree is a system that allows you to customize your endgame experience in Path of Exile.
Guys, I know that this might seem upsetting for you. If you see this, you might want to lay down. Rest assured, after the first 1,000 hours, you will begin to understand it, okay?
As you complete different maps, you gain skill points that can be allocated in the tree. You could use these points to modify the behavior of different content you encounter in in-game maps to make it more difficult or more rewarding, or to behave entirely differently. The system allows you to double down on the content you enjoy and avoid content you don't. Keystones are really impactful passives that totally change how in-game systems behave. Usually they have an element of give and take and require you to come up with new strategies to take advantage of them. Each of these 16 new Atlas Keystones changes how you might interact with Path of Exile's endgame.
You wanna hear a hot take from me? I think that the hard modes for the different Uber bosses shouldn't be on the Atlas.
Let's have a look at some of them now. We will reveal the rest of them before the release of Trial of the Ancestors in a few weeks. Extreme Archaeology completely changes how you play expedition encounters. Instead of placing a series of regular explosives, you now place one gigantic explosive. Every single chest or monster in the block...
Thank fucking God. Oh, thank fucking God, bro. I love this guy. Oh, fuck yes, bro. Yes. I hated having to click, bro. Oh.
blast radius is affected by every remnant in that radius.
Yeah. Boom. Boom, bitch. Oh, shit. And then they instantly kill him because he didn't see the one that said their attacks always crit.
Speaker of the Dead makes it so that tormented spirits can possess you rather than possessing monsters. Boosting your stats instead. While possessed, you can touch monsters just like a spirit can, making them stronger and more rewarding. It's kind of getting silly at this point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blight is like a tower defense minigame inside Path of Exile. The Cassia's Pride keystone makes it so that Blight monsters take significantly less damage from players and significantly more damage from Blight towers. This basically lets you go all in playing it like an actual tower defense game. Because we can. Lucid Dreams makes it so that Val side areas in your maps are no longer corrupted, meaning that you can use currency items to change their mods. That's right, when you encounter a Val side area, the keystone lets you craft it. Yeah, so we rebalance
Volvus. I wonder if people would be willing to do that.
The side area mods, we've improved reward outcomes, and we've made the downside mods a bit more punishing, you know, just to make it interesting if you try to go for the good outcomes.
Yeah.
You may also rarely encounter a unique Val side area.
Yeah, I saw that.
Destructive play makes it so that the Maven will summon between 1 and 3 extra random map bosses when you are fighting witness map bosses.
What?
So that the Maven will summon between 1 and 3 extra random map bosses when you are fighting witness map bosses. What? This keystone is analogous to the map bosses when you are fighting witness map bosses.
So is this like a fucking betrayal invasion?
This keystone is analogous to the Eldritch Altar keystones that make those influences more difficult but more rewarding. There are another 11 new keystones that we'll reveal over the next few weeks. Together, these 16 keystones mean that regardless of how you enjoy your maps, you'll have plenty of new ways to play Path of Exile's endgame in this expansion. And I should note, in the initial draft of the keynote, I painstakingly went through every single keystone. It took like 10 minutes. But we'll put them in the news to save you some time here. In the Trial of the Ancestors expansion, we're shifting Path of Exile's
I would have been fine with that.
Metagame in several ways. The first is by introducing 14 new support gems, which are designed to take existing categories of skills and provide entirely new ways to play them. For full information, check the final gem hovers when we post them in the next few weeks.
I can't believe they stole this idea from the Malignant Hearts in Diablo 4.
Let's have a look at a handful of these support gems now.
That's fucked up.
In Path of Exile, War Cries usually buff your party but don't directly hurt monsters. The Corrupting Cry support gem turns War Cries into damage-dealing skills by making them inflict corrupted blood on monsters affected by the War Cry or by your attacks that it exerts.
So I guess this like, I guess maybe this fits into the Chieftain rework?
The Returning Projectile support gem
I think I might try to play that. Because all you have to do is scale AoE damage, and then it goes the whole screen, and then and then the mobs die. Right? I mean, I feel like that's how it should work, right? I mean, fuck.
Causes projectiles from supported skills to return to you, piercing all targets but dealing a little less damage.
Okay.
I think there's another example too.
How do I get that
The
one?
Fresh Meat support gem causes minions created by supported gems to gain adrenaline, critical strike chance, and critical strike damage for a duration after they're first summoned. So you've got to work out a way to keep refreshing your minions, and it makes them a lot more powerful. The Flamewood support gem causes totems to trigger projectile mortars at enemies that hit them. This is particularly synergistic with totems that can taunt enemies, such as Decoy Totem, or one of the new Chieftain Ascendancy skills that I might talk about shortly.
Okay.
The Sacrifice support gem works on spells that you either cast yourself or through totems. These spells now sacrifice a percentage of your current life or the totem's life to gain additional chaos damage based on how much life was sacrificed.
That would be fucking OP for Ward Loop. Holy shit. That could be my... Dude. Holy fuck.
The Frigid Bond support gem affects link skills and causes a cold mist to come over them.
Oh, bro, they stole this from Diablo 3. Oh, bro, what? Come on.
Enemies caught in the beam are chilled and are dealt cold damage over time. This creates a new tool for a cold damage over time build, requiring strategic placement of both yourself and your linked ally. I mentioned it was going to get silly. The Locust Mine support gem looks OP and affects attack skills that use bows. The Locust Mine support gem looks OP and affects attack skills that use bows and wands. Instead of directly using the supported skill, you throw mines in an arc that use that skill for you, targeting your location when you detonate them. In addition to these gems, there are another 7 that we'll be revealing over the next few weeks.
Wow.
In addition to the 14 new support gems, our balance work for the Trial of the Ancestors.
The only one that I think is going to be worth a shit is, I bet actually that one might be pretty good, is the Corrupting Blood one with the war shouts based off of how the Chieftain rework is going to be and the chaos damage.
Involved us revamping 2 Ascendancy classes. These are the subclasses that you can specialize in as you play through Path of Exile's campaign. Each main character class has 3 Ascendancy classes available. In the last expansion, Crucible, we overhauled the Pathfinder and Saboteur. This time, it's the Guardian and Chieftain, which are specializations of the Templar and Marauders, respectively. While we were very happy with the theme of the Guardian, it was falling behind the power level and popularity of other Ascendancy classes.
Yeah, I've never heard of
Our
Guardian.
changes in this expansion have modernized the class and will present you with more relevant build opportunities than before.
Okay.
Brace yourself. Okay.
What the fuck?
Path of Exile 102. Harmony of Purpose can power up parties using link skills.
Look at this.
Time of
Look
Need
at
now
this.
completely cleanses and heals you every 4 seconds. Radiant and Unwavering Crusade
that.
both fully embrace the Holy Summoner theme by giving you access to some exciting new types of minions that are exclusive to this Ascendancy class. We have this picture on the announcement page, pathofexile.com/ancestor, for you to scrutinize. Next.
Okay, here we go. This is what
While
I
the
care
Guardian's revamp was similar to that of the Pathfinder,
I played Chieftain for the Nangumangu axe one time, and I played it for Righteous Fire.
the Chieftain has received the Saboteur treatment. To be honest, we were unhappy about many aspects of this Ascendancy class in its old form, and so we have completely redesigned it. You can play it now. It's basically an entirely new Ascendancy class with the same name and art and a new way of approaching its themes.
Okay.
Its new skills let
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Holy shit! Wait, so does this stack? So, like, if you have max fire res on one thing, like 3% max fire res, and then 3% max cold res, do you have 6% max all res? I think. No? Oh, yeah, maximum fire resistance. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I didn't read it. Modifiers to fire is... It's still fucking ridiculous, by the way. Let's see. There's like 3 or 4 things that give like fire res, max fire res. Like I think Elder Shields give it. Obviously Purity of Fire gives it. I think 21 gives the next level of it. Fuck, that's insane. Dude, what if I did an RF build with that shouts as well? I wonder if I could do both. Wait, enemies you kill have a 5% chance to explode, dealing 500% of their max life as fire damage? Holy fuck. Modifiers to fire resistance also apply to cold and lightning resistances at 50% of their value. Recoup 10% of damage taken by your totems as life. Totems are... Nobody gives a fuck about totems. Okay, next. Non-unique jewels increase and reductions to other damage types in a large radius are transformed to apply to fire damage. Okay. Trigger a level 20 Talwan is chosen whenever you attack with a non-vol slam. I don't know what that is really. And what's this? Skills from equipped body armor are supported by level... Wait. Isn't that a shout? No, it's not. Never mind. Let me see. What the fuck? Nearby enemies have no fire resistance against damage over time while you are stationary. So we would go with this one. We'd go with this one. We'd go with this one. And maybe with the damage. With this one here. Tends to apply to fire damage. Holy fuck. Dude. Good for screaming build, though, since enemy stationary on RF. Well, you can stand with RF. When are you stationary in ARPGs? When you play Righteous Fire? Can't go into negative resistances? Yeah, but I think it could reduce their base, and then you could still apply flammability or something onto them on top of that, right? Oh, fuck. Yeah, and yeah, you channel Scorching Ray.
You, among other things, cause enemies to explode, turn off enemies' fire resistance while you're stationary, convert passive skills to apply to fire damage, and have your fire resistances apply to your cold and lightning resistances. Okay. I'll just give you a sec more to read. All right, that's on the site too for you to check out. It's pretty powerful now. To celebrate the release of the Trial of the Ancestors, we'll be hosting a boss kill event. To enter, create a hardcore solo self-found character in the Ancestor League and race to kill all 7 Uber Pinnacle bosses on the same character. Note that unlike the last event we ran, this one is not a Ruthless event. Yeah. We'll post more...
Ruthless, like it being only on Ruthless, people were upset about that.
Information about the event and its prizes in the news before release. Best of luck to everyone. For the Ancestor Challenge League, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Shade and Disciple packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value and points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available for the duration of the Ancestor League and will leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect the character's power or progression in any way, despite how cool they look. The Shade series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. All right, the sarcophagus back attachment imprisons an unspeakable evil that struggles to break free. Nearby monsters...
they stole this from Honkai Star Rail with Luocha.
Send it into a frenzy, and enemy deaths provide it with souls to feast upon. The Stygian Waypoint shackles visitors to your hideout in chains, yourself included. These chains are just cosmetic, though, and they break as soon as you move. It would supposedly be a gameplay advantage to be able to imprison people. The Ferryman's armor set is so full of trapped souls that some of them try to escape. Moving while wearing the boots will leave souls in your wake trying to break free.
Great, another ground effect.
The Infernal Portal opens a gate to the Netherrealm when you approach. This prompted a lot of internal discussion about whether using Hellfire to heat your hideout is actually safe and practical. Good to me. The Demon-bound crafting bench allows you to enslave a malevolent entity to craft items for you. Be warned.
That's really... this is actually really cool.
It has a sharp tongue and will mock you mercilessly.
You chained me for such a paltry use?
I hope that they have it to where, like, if you... Like, they have, like, a smart AI whenever you do, like, an application of something. if you get a low roll, he'll laugh at you.
The Nebula character effect causes items you pick up to orbit you in an ethereal cloud of loot.
Just what we needed.
The Disciple series of supporter packs also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Look at dog.
Wow.
I'm going to put that in the top pack. The Hero's Landing Finisher effect summons a marble statue from the heavens to execute unique monsters you defeat. You decide whether it's the sword or the huge lump of rock that actually kills them. The Bell Tower map device heralds the opening of a new map with a peal of bells. Start to run out of portals, though, and it will reflect your desperate situation.
I'm gonna buy that. I'm definitely gonna buy this. This is so good for stream because people will they'll see oh, it's on fire. Uh-oh. Yeah, I have to buy this for stream.
This is fine.
Whoa.
The Cathedral armor set refracts light through your character, creating beautiful patterns on the ground around it. If your life gets low, it responds in kind.
Okay, cool.
The Observer Diamond Flask summons a tentacled mass that fires its eye lasers at enemies you critically strike while the flask is active.
That does damage, right?
Again, cosmetic.
Ah.
The Currency Orb charge effect lets you pick from a number of different currency types to replace your charges with, as long as you've used that currency item anytime from today onwards. Some people... We have to store it in the database, right? Some people will show they can be part of the exclusive club of players who have actually used the Mirror of Calandra. This effect also causes...
Oh god, where was it?
How does this work? Does it work on grays? Oh, look, and it changes sides too on the...
Oh, it was such a good stream. Oh my god, that was so good. I should be put in prison for that. Bro, he got a hate thread about him on the PoE subreddit about doing that.
As your charges to display in town.
How rare are those? 1 in 2,000 hours /played.
So the theory is you go use your standard mirror.
Yeah.
Which we all have, right?
Yep.
The Faithful Hound Pet is a very good doggo, and it knows a few tricks. You can command it to sit, roll over, or play dead. And yes, you can pet the dog. These new packs are available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase, and purchases like these directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 1 and 2. Meanwhile, the Lithomancer and Enchanter packs leave the store forever at the launch of Trial of the Ancestors, so now's your last chance to purchase them. There's some good stuff in those too. Thanks for your continued support. The fun part. For the last Exilecon, we developed a special card game that encapsulated the full gameplay arc of Path of Exile over the course of the event. Players could defeat monsters, progressively upgrade their items, use currency items to craft...
Wait, so it's like you get all these? Do you have is this someone like an Exodia? It's a Shaper?
Their equipment, find and run maps, and eventually defeat pinnacle bosses to earn rewards. It was a whole lot of fun, and we've had so many requests to run it again. So this year, we're proud to bring you the 2023 version of the Exilecon card game. And like all Path of Exile expansions, it even includes a challenge league. In your swag bags, you'll have found a box of Exilecon cards, and then a gentleman outside will have asked to purchase them from you for real money.
Yeah.
If you have any cards left, you can use these to challenge GGG staff members who are walking around Exilecon as monsters. They'll be wearing t-shirts showing the monster's stats, which include symbols for their attack and defense. Using the cards in your deck box and those you accumulate by defeating monsters, put together one set of armor, one weapon and shield, or a two-handed weapon, and an amulet and 2 rings. To defeat a monster, the damage on your weapon has to be equal to or larger than the defense of the monster, and the defense on the armor and shield have to be equal to or larger than the attack of the monster. It's that simple. There are some wildcard symbols. It's explained on the rules in the box.
They should put this in the game.
Rings and amulets are pretty hard to find, and they can be used for either attack or defense. So to attack a monster, politely approach a staff member wearing the shirt, introduce yourself, and show them the set of equipment you want to use. If your symbols match, then you'll have defeated them, and they'll give you a reward and remove some of the durability from your items. They do this by clicking the card, so if you want to keep the card pristine, don't necessarily attack someone with it. It will get damaged in combat. Be careful not to waste your best items on low-level monsters. You're not allowed to attack the same monster twice in a row, so you need to explore Exilecon to find different GGG staff members. You can get maps by defeating monsters marked as gods. Take these maps to the map device to run them and progress through the tiers. On the back of the box is a list of quests. As you complete quests, you can visit the crafting bench on the top floor to receive rewards for completing those quests. While you're there, you can also use your currency items.
Bro, they put more thought into this than like some people put into like an entire video game.
To modify your equipment.
Like,
I mentioned that this year's version of the card game introduced a challenge league. That league is Delve. Accumulate sulfite and bring it to the Delve wall, sorry for the bad photo, it's hard with lighting, on the middle floor. Each sulfite card you hand in allows you to explore one tile of the Azurite mine. You'll all be working collaboratively throughout the event to delve deep into the mine, fight the monsters that lurk there, and uncover its treasures.
This is better, yeah, somebody mentioned this is actually a lot better than the TwitchCon ball pit.
And I feel really bad for the poor people that had to hang 3,000 cards on that wall.
Yeah.
You may eventually be able to challenge the pinnacle bosses if you manage to get really far in the card game. I'm the Searing Exarch, Jonathan is the Eater of Worlds, and Mark is the Maven. Defeating any of the 3 of us will reward you with a Mirror of Calandra enamel pin. This pin is exclusively available for winning the card game and won't be sold in the merchandise shop. Each person can only receive a maximum of 2 mirrors, and when they run out, we can't give any more out, so try to win the game early. The reason for 2 is a very typical Path of Exile reason, 1 for you and 1 to trade.
Smart.
All right, it's almost time to go and experience Exilecon 2023. Aside from the card game, we've prepared a full weekend of activities for you. There's a busy roster of talks and interviews on the main stage and the streamer stage. We've posted a schedule at pathofexile.com/Exilecon, so you can see what is happening when and where. The schedule also includes information on meet and greet sessions. Our special guests this year include a roster of many of your favorite streamers, but also some game development industry friends we've met over the last 16 years. We're proud to once again welcome the creators of the Diablo series, David Brevik, Max Schaefer, and Eric Schaefer, as well as
David Brevik made Diablo 2.
Travis Baldry, who you may know from Fate, Torchlight, and his popular fantasy books, or even the books he's narrated. They'll not only have meet and greet sessions, but are also participating in an action RPG roundtable discussion alongside me and Eric tomorrow on the stage. In all of the developer talks and panels, Exilecon attendees will be able to scan a QR code on their phone to submit questions for the speakers to discuss in the panel or on the Q&A section of the talk. The Path of Exile 2 Exilecon demo is a large one, and you may want to play it multiple times this weekend. In each session, you can pick from one of 4 character classes, which start at various points throughout the first 4 acts of Path of Exile 2's campaign. Around half of each act is included in the demo, and your session time is limited to 45 minutes before you have to let someone else have a turn. Remember, as Jonathan said earlier, this demo is hard. Read the signs that explain how your skills combine together. Dodge roll is your new friend. You should also swing by the Path of Exile mobile demo at the chill out area on the top floor and check out its progress. It's coming along really well, and we'd love to get your feedback on it. We've created heaps of new Path of Exile merchandise, which is available at our merchandise shop.
I have this one. Where is it? Where is it? Where's that thing? Where'd it go? They sent it to me. Where'd it go? Oh, I think it's over there. It's one of it. I have it somewhere.
On the middle floor. We've made 17 new t-shirts, which include a few from our community t-shirt design competition. We've created a range of 24 enamel pins. You'll have found a random one in your swag bag. If you approach me and I'm wearing a pin, feel free to swap for the one you've got if you'd like. Happy to trade.
Badass.
You can purchase the others in the shop. As mentioned before, there's also the super exclusive Mirror of Calandra pin that is only available to winners of the card game. Maybe you're able to trade for a full set. There are 2 new posters. One is the Atlas passive tree, and the other is the periodic table of currency.
I'm pretty sure, is that all of them? Yeah, I wonder if that's even all of them. Yeah, it's not.
In addition to reprinting the incredibly popular Celestial Cat socks, we've also introduced the Chaos Orb socks, better for business meetings. There's also a range of 4 desk pads to keep your play area tidy. You can
bro, I want to get this one. This is fucking badass.
check them out at the demo zone. We have a limited range of Exilecon 2019 merchandise available in the store as well. Make sure to hit it up early if you want some of this, because stocks of the older items are quite limited. We have plenty of new merchandise for everyone, though, and I think I might have underestimated that. The Exilecon livestream concludes tomorrow with our grand racing finale, where 4 players compete for up to $10,000 and the title of Exilecon 2023 Racing Champion. Afterwards, we're hosting an after party at 8 p.m. at the venue. If you're watching from home, please note that because there are multiple things going on at the same time here, and we can only stream one of them live, we'll be restreaming 3 of today's talks tomorrow before the event starts. So to be clear, they're occurring here, people can watch them in person, but you can't watch them at that time because we're streaming something else. So we're going to restream those tomorrow in the 3 hours where it's way too early to do it in New Zealand, but you can watch them online from the States and Europe. This makes sure that everyone is fully up to date on all of the talks that have been announced about Path of Exile 2 before the important Q&A in the morning where you get to ask the important questions.
All right.
If you missed out on attending Exilecon this year, we'll be at Gamescom in Germany in August and PAX West in Seattle in September. At both shows, the Path of Exile 2 booth will have our Exilecon demo available to play and a small team of Grindiga Games developers, including me and Jonathan, to chat to, and we hope to see you there. Thanks so much for joining us this weekend at Exilecon 2023. Have a great show, everyone.
There it is. Holy shit. Wow.
G'day, Exiles, and welcome back to the second half, the post-stall cast.
You didn't say it's Ziggy D here.
For you, I'm Ziggy D, joined by, once again, by Mathel, Rise QT, and Nugian. We're going to have a bit of a chat.
Wow. I mean, I would say, I mean, like, look. I mean, this is insane. Like, all the updates were great. I'm excited for... Like, I'll be curious to know, like, what it's going to be like. How are you going to develop, like, PoE 1 and 2 at the same time? It seems like such a huge undertaking to, like, develop 2 games that are so similar but so different. I'll be really curious to see how that's going to happen, you know? There's 2 teams. Yeah, no, I understand. Like, I get it, right? I get it. But it just seems like a massive, like, big dick play. Definitely. They're already doing it? Oh, yeah, I know that. I mean, that's... Yes, watch the Crip interview. It's pretty enlightening. Oh, no, I'll watch more stuff. I'm not going to watch any more of it today. I'll probably watch more of it tomorrow. 8 people made Calandra. Wow. Fuck. Yeah, I had no idea. That's insane. Diablo 4 devs have a deadline until June 24 to get the game good. Yeah, what did you guys think about it? It's a good time for gamers, yeah. Past year, PoE 1's been run by an 8-man team. It's nuts because, like, I think Sanctum and Crucible were pretty good. I didn't mind them. I thought they were good. Yeah, I mean, so keep in mind, they obviously were not threatened by Diablo 4. Well, I feel like Diablo 4 is always going to be, like... Because the thing is that, like, if you go and you look at... I'm just going to mute and click on a couple of things. If you look at, like, some of the systems and things that they're adding into the game... Like, the level of complexity this game has is never really going to allow them to cannibalize, like, Diablo 4 players. Because it's just so complex and so involved that people that are more casual gamers are just never going to be able to get into it. Now, I'm not sure how PoE 2 is going to change that. I have no idea. I think we're going to have to play the beta next year and find out. But overall, PoE 1 is never going to attract the couch co-op 3 hours a week Andy. You know, it's just not going to happen. I'm sure that those people exist, but they're in no way, shape, or form like a, you know, like the majority or something like that, you know? So PoE is to the same skill tree and even more shit? Yeah. So PoE 2 still has 1,500 passives? Yeah, there you go. Even following a guide is confusing? Yeah. So, like, this is obviously, like, I don't think this kills Diablo 4. I don't think so at all, because Diablo 4 is made, it's the same way as, like, let me think of a way to put it, like, Smash Brothers doesn't kill Street Fighter. Or like, let me think of another example, oh, fuck. Like, I mean, there's a million games. Like, Escape from Tarkov doesn't kill Call of Duty. It's because it's for a different audience of players. Yeah, Tekken, yeah, stuff like that. iRacing doesn't kill Forza. Yeah, and so, like, I obviously do think that, like, a lot of Diablo 4 players are looking at this right now, and they're thinking, like, I think that, like, with PoE 2, right? Think about how many different types of modifiers of playing your character that we just saw inside of this, like, 30-minute demo, or probably 15-minute demo for the Sorceress. Like, there's already more depth in the gameplay of this character, almost. Maybe even more, I don't know, I have to think about it, than a max-level Sorcerer in Diablo 4. So, I just... I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna feel, man. People would juggle both PoE 2 and Diablo 4. Yeah. Sorry about the skill tree. Maybe close the game twice. I can't get into it. Well, yeah, not everybody's gonna get into the game. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Minecraft. Like, I've tried it. It's just not really my thing. Maybe I just haven't played it in the way that I enjoy. Like, but I know Minecraft's a good game. I just don't really play it, right? That's all. I feel like they took a shot at Diablo 4 with the Sorc skill tree of PoE 2. Well, I don't think they were really thinking about Diablo 4 at all, to be honest with you. Like, this gameplay and everything is pretty independent of that, I would say. But yeah, I don't think anybody should be like, should feel bad about like, oh wow, like I'm not, you know, like I'm not playing this game, it's too complex for me. Like, you're not dumb for that, right? It's just, it's a game that requires a tremendous amount of investment and time. But it's a game that also, like, a person that has 2,000 hours in the game will have a decided advantage against a person that has 1,000 hours of knowledge. And, like, that's what this kind of game, that's what it does. Now, I hope that they introduce, like, some things in PoE 2 that make it a little bit easier for, like, new players to not fall into traps and make mistakes. And it make players want to invest more time. But we're going to have to see what that's going to look like in a year, right? I mean, like, they're announcing a beta in literally a year. So, we're going to have to see. Depends on what you like. Yeah, my friend likes Diablo. He couldn't get into PoE because of all the systems. Yeah. Just like WoW. It could be, yeah. PoE passive system isn't much worse than a Paragon board. Hell, it has a search function. Yeah, I agree. And I think that, like, functionally for most people it's the same thing because they just look up a build guide and do it. What do you think about gold currency in PoE? I don't really care about gold currency. I think that buying... So this is, like, in general how I feel about it. I think that buying currency is actually unfun and bad gameplay in PoE 1. I think that buying gear is fun and interesting gameplay in PoE 1. I have never made a currency trade in PoE 1 and enjoyed it. It's literal trash. You're messaging... You're competing against bots... Nobody is going to respond to you. It's fucking terrible. So, yeah. What do you think about the new weapon, like flails and the 12 classes? I think it's a good idea because it introduces, like, more blended classes. I throw some shade in the idea of the later talks. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that, like, a lot of people might just be interpreting it as them throwing shade because they're trying to, like, they're projecting. I think that a lot of the Diablo... I bet a lot of the people that make PoE, I bet they played Diablo 4. Or maybe they still play Diablo 4, I don't know. But I'm sure that they played the game and tried it out, etc. So it's not like, it's not like they hate Diablo or something like that. Of course, yeah, I mean, of course they do, right? I'm sure a number of the Diablo developers have played PoE. I mean, fuck, I'd be worried if they weren't doing that. You know what I mean? Gold currency is slotted under other currencies, and all the vendors use it, so a piece of gear costs gold instead of 2 portal scrolls. Oh, I see. So it's vendor currency? That's nice. Don't you agree Diablo 4 doesn't know what it needs to be because you can't see where it's going to go? PoE 1 and 2, you can clearly see the road they're building. I don't know. I think that, like, you know, I think we'll have to see what happens with Diablo 4. Joe Shelley didn't even know what SSF meant. I'd have to see that clip. I can't believe that he doesn't know what that means. Like, I refuse to believe that unless I see it. Yeah, no way. No, absolutely not. I'm not going to believe that. That's insane. So, Joe P tweeted about PoE earlier. Yeah, I saw that. It was in the Quinn interview. Well, if you link it to me on my Reddit, I'll take a look at it tomorrow. They see Season 2 is bigger in Diablo 4. Let's wait and see. Well, it doesn't really matter, like, about Season 2 because, like, Season 2 isn't out right now. And, like, I played PoE ever since the start, right? I came in and out of the game many, many times. So, like, it's not like I played it consistently every league. But, like, PoE, whenever it first came out, didn't have anywhere near the level of depth that, you know, it does now. Like, it took many years for PoE to get where it is now. But also, like, the reason why is that the reason why it's good now is because they developed it with a mindset of sustainable development over the course of a decade. And that's really what they've done. And is Diablo 4 going to be able to do that? I don't know. I think we'll know in 2 years. You know, are things going in a good direction or not? Because, like, at that point, we'll be able to see kind of what's going to happen. Like, right now, like, I'm neutral. I'm neutral to negative. I'm not, like, negative, but I'm, like, you know, like, in terms of a reputation, I'm not neutral. I'm, like, unfriendly, but not hostile. I'm skeptical. Yeah, that's actually the best word I can use. Yeah, skeptical is a way better word. Diablo 4 board of directors? Yeah, we'll see. But, they also cared what they learned over at PoE 2, and we'll start off strong. Diablo 4 started from scratch. Yeah, well, it's like they did, but they didn't have to, which is what was so weird about it. Why do PoE frogs hate Diablo so much? They hate Diablo because a lot of them are playing PoE because Diablo sucks. That's the reason. Like, most people, like, I remember during the beta of PoE, is that everybody was always talking about, excuse me, they were always talking about how Diablo 3 sucked. Like, the entire general chat of the game was all talking about Diablo 3 sucking dick. That was the whole thing, all day, every day. Oh, true words, Miss Falcon. Yeah, yeah, and so, like, and I think that a lot of people are frustrated because, you know, Diablo probably, like, I mean, you have to remember, like, it was, I actually thought, I was an idiot, right? But, like, I thought whenever I first watched PoE that Crip was playing Diablo 2. I actually thought it was Diablo 2 because I didn't know any better. So, like, it's obvious that they made the game to be a lot like Diablo. And that's okay. Yeah, PoE exists because of Diablo. PoE is, like, I would say probably, like, the spiritual successor of Diablo 2. Someone who moved to PoE, I can tell you that that's happening now with Diablo 4. Yeah, it's just kind of funny that, like, history is repeating itself 10 years later. They said they loved Diablo 2, and that was the base of PoE. Yeah, exactly. Games built on other games. Yeah, that's the way it should be. It's kind of ironic. PoE is more like Diablo than Diablo these days. Well, I don't know. I need to go back and actually play Diablo 2 so I can actually, like, understand why people like it so much. Because I never really played it beyond Act 1. Crazy thing is, PoE's been in development for 4 years. They managed to make a game free to play, no pay to win, good looking game, and the boss fights we've seen are better than anything else in Diablo 4, which is a $100 game that kept nothing from Diablo 3, microtransaction wise. True. True. Yeah. Like, I would say, I mean, I would say the Diablo 4 campaign is better than the PoE campaign, definitely. There's, like, way more cutscenes, it's way more involved, etc. But, like, you know, like, is that the only reason why people play a game like that? Probably not. If you play Diablo 2, there's an add-on. No, I want to play the base game. I don't want to play an add-on. Found a video where Joe Shelley doesn't know what solo self-found was. What was it? What's it called, Dr. Crusher? Yeah, what's it called? I want to see it. I want to hear it for myself. I don't believe it. Link in chat. Yeah, you can link it to Nomad too. It's the Quinn interview? No, I want to see it. I want to see the link. Are you botting or an AI personally? Oh, no, I'm an AI, yeah. Do you think all microtransactions from PoE 1 could limit PoE 2? No. I don't really think so. When are you playing Last Epoch finally? I don't know. I have so many other games that I want to play. It's hard for me to keep up with everything. Like, the truth is, I just need to play. I need to stream longer every day. Because I've just been like, I've been having really bad sleeping problems. Like, I've been waking up in the middle of the day, and then I go back to bed, and then I wake up again, and it's like almost, you know, like 9 p.m. You know, I mean, it is what it is, right? Okay.
Whether you're
Let me see this video. Yeah, I've been having a lot of problems with that personally. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, or what I'm going to do about it yet. But yeah. Let me go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, so this was an interview 3 years ago.
Okay, we have a million questions. It's a SIF. This isn't really fun. You could just say no.
Okay.
If it's like this, like not happening, or maybe, or like, you know, just okay. It's a SIF. Solo self-found.
So,
so
yes.
like Path of Exile. I mean, people like Leviathan and a bunch of other people do it in Diablo 3, where you just don't play with anyone else.
You can choose to play that way if you want. We're not going to officially support it in like a game mode or something.
Like no sort of game mode where you can select that. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. That's.
I feel like he said, "Oh yes," like yeah. I think he knows what it means to reach. Yeah, I feel like he was just more confused and unknowing. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's what it was. Just a brain fart. Yeah, Look, I will shit on Diablo 4 all day. I will fucking counter the devs all night. But it's got to be on something that's real, right? I think that's a big stretch, man. It is. It's a big stretch. Probably didn't hear SSF properly over the New Zealand accent. Yeah. You can say SSF out loud. I was probably slightly confused. Maybe. How would Diablo 4 improve to compete with PoE? I mean, there's a million ways, right? I mean, I think they should just, like, you know, just shore up their own fundamentals, make the things that are in the game work, and then, you know, you can think about everything else after that. Not me using a 3-letter acronym, don't know anything about subject. Yeah, I think he gets it. I mean, yeah, don't overcomplicate things. Yeah, definitely. There, when you go for SSF, it's probably a different language. Hardcore solo. Yeah, who knows? I mean, what are we talking about? It's like a fucking 5-second clip from 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Who cares? Anyway, back to PoE. The bosses, if they have 100 of these different bosses, that's fucking insane. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. 100 of these different bosses. Because, like, Diablo, you know, they said they had 100 dungeons. And I counted about 7. So I don't know about that, right? So, like, I'll be curious to see what 100 bosses really looks like. No, most are just unique enemies, I bet. Well, that's okay. I mean, like the breach bosses, for example, or the scourge bosses, you know, that big fat dude who looks like Asmongold. Like, you know, I consider him a boss. Absolutely, he's a boss. Yeah, 7 dungeons in 100 places. Yeah. The June 2024 thought it'd be a lot. Oh, you thought PoE 2 was going to be a lot closer? I mean, like, really, man? That's only like 3 leagues. Like, I feel like that's going to be... It's going to be out pretty soon, and then, you know, it'll probably be in beta for 6 months, and then it'll come out hopefully at the end of the year. I mean, like... I mean, hopefully. Who the fuck knows? Yeah, I'm not even gonna worry about it. Like, it's nice to keep up with it. It's same as like Elden Ring, right? Where it's like it was really great to hear updates about Elden Ring, but like I'm not gonna be like, oh, this needs to come out now or whatever. Like, just make the game good, and whenever it's good, then we play the game. That's how I see it. All content combined, we've seen 10 plus unique bosses in PoE 2. Yeah, I think so. PoE 2 changed a lot since they showed it. Yeah, I think the graphic fidelity has gone up a lot too. I don't understand what I told the people that they're going to attend, not to plan anything after Exilecon because they're going to want to have time to play something. I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah. Should watch with sound. Well, I've already watched the whole thing. I'm just playing it. I'm playing it in the background while I talk about it. That's all. Yeah, we've already watched the whole thing. Or at least like the whole keynote speech and everything like that. What's your opinion on having both games active? I mean, that's what Blizzard does with Classic WoW and Retail WoW, and I think it's a really good model. I'm curious to see how it's going to go, and it's really a tall order. It kind of makes me nervous, but I don't think that they're going to bite off more than they can chew, and I think that's kind of evident with how long they've taken to make not only PoE 2, but also PoE Mobile. Like, we heard about PoE Mobile, like, what, at the same time we heard about Diablo Immortal, and, like, they still haven't made it. So it's clear that they're probably not just going to rush something out and make it bad just to get it out into the public. Did you check the campfire thoughts? Yeah, I watched the Diablo 4 campfire. I think that it actually was a very good one. Like, it's hard to talk about, like, how hyped I am for Diablo 4 whenever I see all this, which I think is just, like, way more comprehensive and better. But, I mean, yeah, I'll go back and play Diablo 4 again. You know, I said I would go back and try it again if they were making improvements to the game and they fixed the problems, and they really kind of did. So I'll try it again and see what happens. I don't know if I'm going to play it today or not, but I'm just saying, like, in general. Do you think they'll launch PoE 1 and 2 leagues? Or will they do them at the same time? They're going to stagger them. That's why I meant with, like, Classic WoW. Like, Classic WoW gets an update, Retail WoW doesn't. And then it goes down, then Retail WoW gets an update, then Classic WoW gets an update, then Retail WoW gets an update, right? Like, that's how it works. Link the VOD? Sure. Yeah, this is just, like, the whole VOD of, like, the whole thing. It's from the Path of Exile channel. I'll link it to you guys right now. People get too much discouraged about getting into PoE. Yeah, I hope PoE 2 changes that a bit and makes it a little bit easier for new players to get into it. Like, I think there's L's that PoE takes that they don't really have to. Like, for example, I think you should be able to fully respec your character with no restrictions at all until you finish Uberlab. I know that might sound kind of crazy, but I just don't really see the I don't see the value in locking a new or inexperienced player into a decision. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things like that that I'd like to see happen with PoE, but overall, you know, also like a language, like a lot of games have this. Like 2 examples of this is Lost Ark has this, and also fuck, I guess, oh, I know Lost Ark has it. I might fuck. The game that has like a codex. Another game that has a codex. What's another game that has a codex? Fuck, I don't remember, but I know Lost Ark has it. And BDO, yeah, I haven't played BDO enough to even know that, but yeah. Oh, Honkai, yeah, Honkai Star Rail. That was the one I was thinking of. Both of them have like a codex in the game that explains every single thing in the game. And I wish that PoE had a codex that was built into the game so people could look things up and understand them more easily. You can respec for free on up to level 70 in PoE China edition. Yeah, I'd be curious to know why they don't let new players do that. Crazy how they want PoE 2 to be harder, dodge or die. Kind of interesting design shift. I don't think it's really that big of a design shift. I think that they've been trying to ever since patch 3.15. the Expedition League patch. I think they've been trying to slow down the game and make it harder, and I think Ruthless League is also another effort in doing that, and I kind of agree with them. I think that's a good idea. So, like, yeah, I definitely, like, would like to see that happen. I don't know if that's really going to happen. Like, having to roll every attack like Dark Souls whenever you're playing an ARPG does seem like it's kind of, it's going to be kind of monotonous. So I'm not really sure how it's going to be like. But I think also, like, it's going to be one of those things where you're really using the roll against, like, very large elites and also bosses. And you're just probably clearing packs like this, and it's not really that common. It's skill expression, so it's a good thing. Yeah, but not everything that's skill expression is a good thing. If it becomes, like, kind of the game is designed around allowing you to express skill rather than playing the game in a fluid and fun way. But I generally agree with you. Like, it's one of the things that I criticize Diablo 4 for a lot, is because I don't think that enough things in the game allow you to express skill. I like it personally. The goal's always been to slow down the game. Yeah, I just don't know if it's really going to happen. Delirium was the first jump into that design. Higher rewards, but bulked up enemies that had to be killed slowly and endgame with orbs. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, I think other people might put it somewhere else, but sure, you could say Delirium. Either way, I think that PoE, like, one of PoE's... I think the biggest problem with PoE in terms of gameplay, like, obviously, like, getting into it is hard, but the biggest problem in regards to gameplay, I think, is visibility. Like, you can't see what's going on. Like, there'll be, like, 15 different effects in the game, and, like I've said before, I hope they get rid of some of the, like, I think, unnecessary effects and, like, overlap abilities and things. Like, I personally don't think that Corrupted Blood and Bleed both need to be in the game. I think only one does. Outside of, like, maybe a boss or something like that. So, I wish that they kind of, like, pruned some of the, like, the negative effects and positive effects to make the game cleaner. And I think that they're going to do that in PoE 2 as well. Yeah, and a few modifiers. Yeah. Less is more. I agree. Typical bloat with old games. Yeah. Corrupted Blood can be negated, though. Yeah, but, like, that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm saying. You also feel the feeling for loot for newcomers is not as fun. I think that, I hope that they don't make crafting in PoE 2 as complex as crafting in PoE 1. I think that crafting should definitely be extremely complex and interesting, but I think the levels of it are overwhelming for even an adept player to understand. And I think they should probably simplify it, or at least, you know, wipe the slate and start building on it again, which is, I think, a good thing. They already removed Scouring and Alteration Orbs. I've always thought that, like, I kind of like reroll orbs, like Alterations and Chaos Orbs. I think those are good because they're interesting. Complexity was added because there's so many expansions. Well, think about, like, yeah, Beast crafting, like Harvest crafting, Betrayal crafting. There's, like, the Betrayal affixes now. Delve, Fossils, Scarabs, yeah. Essence crafting. Oh my god, there's, like, so many different ways to craft. Synthesis, yeah, Synthesis crafting. Thoughts on gem tockets being taken off gear and armor? Armor and weapons. I want to see it. I want to play it and see what it's like. PoE 2 barely has any loot. Nothing drops. That's only because they don't have the items that are showing, except for the gold. If you watch, like, the item will drop and then it will disappear. And also, like, I don't think it's, like, super pog that whenever you kill, like, you shouldn't need 17 different item filters, like, just to understand what's happening in the game. It should be simpler and easier to understand. I think that oftentimes, like, knowledge in video games is, like, it's very hard to balance knowledge in video games. Because, like, people want to be rewarded for playing a game a lot, and being good at that game is also being knowledgeable at the game, but you also don't want to make it to where that knowledge is a barrier to entry for new players because of how much of it you have to have and how much of it you have to know. So it's like, yeah, I don't think that, like, just more game knowledge is, like, just all, like, anything that rewards game knowledge is good and anything that doesn't is bad. I don't look at it that way. So we'll have to see. PoE 2 is Path of Building implemented into the game. They hired the POB dev to make that for them. That's brilliant. That's great, yeah. Not using guides would break a character faster in Diablo 4 or PoE. Definitely in PoE. Last Teapot loot filters would be so nice. Yeah, I'll have to play that game and learn it for myself. Breaking characters just means you won't be able to reach that far into endgame, but it's a lot more than enough to finish the game. I think that you vastly overestimate how much people can fuck up a video game. Like, I bricked my first PoE character and it caused me to quit the game for a year. I think a lot of people did that. The problem is that I made decisions that were, in my mind, like, I didn't feel like I made bad decisions. Like, basically, the right decision should be the intuitive one. It shouldn't be like, you know, for example, like fire damage multiplier versus like fire damage flat base damage. I think an average person isn't going to understand the difference between those two things, and I don't think that having those in the game and distinguishing between them makes the game better. I think that it just makes it more complex and harder to understand for new players. Increase versus more is the worst one, or the best example. After our first look at PoE 2, already looks better than Diablo 4. Thoughts? I think the game looks amazing. They need to have a tooltip that clearly states, yeah, that's what I was saying about having a codex or something like that, to where players can look it up and get in-game information. I just think that in general, every time that a player has to go outside of the game in order to find information about the game, that is a shortcoming of the game. Having both gives us the option for more build paths. Well, it doesn't, though, because, like, one's just better than the other. They said this is the dumbed-down version that captures new players. I think they're adding all the visual clutter on release. Yeah, I hope that they do get rid of a lot of that stuff, but we'll see if that ends up happening. But yeah, PoE 2, this is my, my thoughts on it. After looking at everything, it feels really good to be a Path of Exile player right now. It feels really, really, really good. Yeah.